Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, we got a really good conversation to start off with, man. The news came out that Michael Porter Jr. is, I think, is his older brother, Jontay Porter, is banned for life. I can't even remember the last person that got banned for life. I want to say maybe OJ Mayo was banned for life. I think he kept violating the substance abuse policy. He might have been smoking weed, or I don't know if it was PEDs or not, but I think OJ Mayo may have got banned for life. But other than that, I don't know. I don't remember it being announced, because even when OJ disappeared and never came back, I don't remember him being banned for life. I don't remember that news coming out. But they come out with the news that Jontay is banned for life. What's up, Roland Curtis? He's banned for life. So we're gonna get into some of that. I'm gonna play for you what Shaq said about it. But then we got a lot of other things on the rundown, man. Y'all go like this episode. So y'all go ahead and share and invite everybody in here. Let's get everybody in here, man. Y'all go ahead and hit me up in the comments and tell me who in here, where y'all from. But yeah, that share button gonna be big today. Because I don't know how many of y'all are still up to watch this episode. Usually I go a lot earlier. So this is kind of late in the day or late in the night for a lot of y'all on the East Coast, especially. So I don't know how many I'm expecting to be in here. So hit that share button. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in here as well. But yeah, we got a lot of things, man. Paul Pierce had some stuff to say pertaining to the GOAT debate. Eddie House had some things to say pertaining to LeBron. And then we got to talk about the Golden State Warriors and their dynasty and how their season ended. That's going to be real big. NYC in the house, man. What's up? Troy's dog training up in here, man. Yeah. Hey, you got to call in today, Troy, man. I think you gonna have some stuff to say about these topics, man. They're making me take my day off tomorrow. So all right, bet that's dope then. All right, man. So I mean, I guess we got the night owls in here tonight. I'm a night owl myself, man. But as always, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, so how did this whole thing go down, right? So I guess Jontay Porter may have been, I guess whatever betting site that he was using kind of got alerted to something he did, or some of his activities, and somebody, well, what they're reporting and what they're saying and what I really think happened, I think is totally different, right? So let me just pull up what the NBA said about it. That's the whole statement on the left. I got it kind of blew up on the right side. But what's in the highlighted is the sum of it. The league's investigation found that prior to the Raptors' March 20th game, Porter disclosed confidential information about his own health status to an individual he knew to be an NBA bettor. Now, this could have been anybody. This could have been anybody that's in the chat. Like, let's say, I know one of y'all and I play in the NBA, and you call me and say, hey, I'm taking the over under on you on this game. And I might tell you, hey, look, my ankle, I'm on a bum ankle, so I might not get no tick tonight. I might not get no burn. I'm gonna give it a go. And if I can't go, it is what it is, right? So you hear that information, you might take the under and say, oh man, he might not even get the minutes tonight. I'm gonna take the under. And the dude put $80,000 on there, and he won $1.1 million. That's big. That's big, right? So what I really think happened is They saw, let me finish reading it. Another individual with whom Porter associated and knew to be an NBA bettor subsequently placed a $80,000 parlay proposition bet with an online sports book to win 1.1 million, wagering that Porter would underperform on that March 20th game. So basically, they might have had him slated to score 7 points that game or 8 points, but I knew that he wasn't gonna play in that game, or he wasn't gonna play long because his ankle was bummed up, and I go ahead and put the bet on there. And Jontay Porter gets pulled out of the game for his ankle. I win $1 million, right? So basically, what happened is that sports book looked and was like, because you know how Vegas is. Anything dealing with betting, sports betting, Vegas, they supposed to win. Vegas is the house is always supposed to win. And if they don't win, it's just to set you up. We gonna give you a couple of wins just to set you up, because we go win on the backside and take everything. So the game is rigged for them to win. So whenever you rig the game for you to win and you lose, you start looking into why. So they saying somebody won $1 million. Like, how the heck did how did this slip? So they started looking into it, and then they probably was like, something got to be wrong here. So they alerted the NBA and was like, can y'all look into this? And guess what? The NBA and Vegas are partners. Like, in order for the NBA to make gambling and betting on the NBA legal, you have to be in partnership with Vegas. So if you got any doubt that the league is somewhat rigged, they're in bed with Vegas, and Vegas is 100% rigged. So the NBA is fishy. So the NBA did their due diligence. It was like, yeah, we'll look into it, and they got to appease their partners. Hey, look, man, we can't have people just taking y'all money, just because my players decide to give information to somebody that nobody else supposed to have about their injury report, which is crazy because every injury is supposed to be on the injury report anyway, right? So I really need to go and look and see if whatever game, or that March 20th game, if they came out with the injury report saying that he's doubtful for the game, or if he was placed on the injury report, it should be no harm, no foul, because that's information people can get, right? So the fact that they mad that someone got the information that he was hurt, or he might underperform that game because he was injured, is really kind of foul. But that's not the only thing that he did, man. They said that he pulled himself out of a couple of games. But I think one game they say he got poked in the eye and he left the game. And I think it was like 1 or 2 games where he had little minor injuries that pulled him out of the game, and they said that was suspicious as well. So that whole thing was interesting to me because Shaq had a different opinion about it, right? They talked about the thing. This is before, like, this clip I'm about to play you is before they came out with the news that he was going to be banned for life. They were just talking about it, but Shaq had this to say.
But has there ever been a point where you've played with the others where you're like, man, they actually really need money, and like if someone were to come along and offer something like this, you could see it?
No.
Because it seems like it's getting into the fabric of sports right now, and I really do get concerned about cheating and stuff like that.
True story. We're somewhere, and we're sitting at a bar, and the guy comes, and the guy's polite. He says, Shaq, you probably don't want to sit here. I said, why? He says, I'm one of the biggest bookies in the world, and people know me, and I don't want you next. I said, oh, cool, but you ain't got to worry about me. So we started talking, and we said, hey, you get players? He said, nah, you guys make too much money. I get referees. That's what he says. And then a couple of years after that, the whole thing broke.
Tim Donaghy and the refs.
He said that.
I have talked with coaches that have told me that they thought a ref was reffing a game weird, and then they went after the game and looked at the spread and realized, like, oh, wow, like a few of those loose ball fouls, the ones where it's like you and another guy running and you both collide at the same time, and who they call the foul on, that kind of stuff.
Whenever I felt like the game wasn't being called right, I always used to go to the ref and be like, the spread is 6. All the time. The spread is 6.
Was that the actual spread, or did you just make it
up? No, I just always tell them, like, I know exactly what you're doing. The spread is 6. And then I always just tell them, I said, don't matter to me. I'm making $40 million this year. Do it. You got to do it again. Like, if you want the people that pay to watch you say it, don't really matter to me.
Does that make you sad? Did it make you annoyed as a player?
It does. Because my thing is, they say we're going to hack a Shaq in the paper. Oh, we're just going to file him. Okay, now when they file me, just call it.
So this is interesting. So the question he asked Shaq is, can you see this, that players are doing this? Can you see this? That, do you think the money is that, that scarce, and, it's players that are that desperate that they would do something like this? And Shaq was like, nah. And he was like, he told a story, true story. I talked to a bookie and he asked him like, hey, y'all get players? And he was like, nah, we don't get players. Y'all make too much money. We get refs. Right. And we know that's a true story because, the famous ref that they threw out there to be the sacrificial lamb was Donahue, or however you say his name, Donahue. Right. In which I got his book somewhere over here. I got his book somewhere over here. It's a good read, but they got Donahue, and he said it was more to me, but the NBA they won't tell them themselves like that. So hey, look, man, you take the rap for everybody. That you got to go down. So from the referee standpoint, they're dealing with people that might because I think Donahue was giving the bookie that he was giving that information to like the mob or the mafia. So they play some big time bets, real big time bets, right? And it's probably millions riding on that. So that's one way that they might do it. The referees do whatever they do, cool. It wasn't that common for players to do it, is what Shaq is saying. So do I think Porter was that hard out for money? I mean, his brother just got a huge contract with Denver, right? And he's on a roster spot in Toronto, and he's playing good ball. It's just he hasn't had a breakout year or nothing like that. But he's a good ball player, not as good as his brother, but he's a good ball player. He's gonna make his money. I don't know if he was that desperate for money like that. I don't know. It don't make a lot of sense for me. I mean, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been on Underdog Fantasy, and I'm looking at names that I want to play plus or minus on, or do a parlay on, or do a pick 'em. I'm looking at guys, and you got to scroll. I mean, like who is putting their money on Jontay Porter? Like, who's saying, oh man, they got Jontay Porter for 10 points. I take the over under on that. Like, who's saying that? Like, we're picking it on other guys. And as a matter of fact, some guys are not even available to even pick because it's almost too easy to do it. Like, you can't pick a over under on a player that's a bench player that hardly gets in the game. They won't make that player available. So I'm trying to think, how the heck would, I mean, I just don't believe what the NBA is trying to sell us, that this guy was out there just giving away secrets that nobody knew nothing about by telling people that he was going to be hurt and you can take the under on me. Just don't make a lot of sense to me, man. So that's just my we live we live, big dog. Yeah, we in here, we live. Yeah. I know you've been missing the last couple of lives from Philippines. I think you missed Friday. I ain't see you Friday. And I didn't have anything this Tuesday, so you probably missed the last couple of them. Yeah, but we're live right now. And you might be able to call in if you want to use Skype. You can go find Man Down Sports on Skype, and I get you in on the call in that way. If you're coming from overseas, everybody else will use the regular phone number. But if you overseas, we can try Skype. I haven't done it yet, but we can try it if you can find Man Down Sports on Skype. Yeah, you're right. I think it is a lot of suspect stuff going on, man. So I just don't I think the NBA really did him wrong, man, and they got to make an example out of him. And if we get into some more of their statement, the league's investigation also found that Porter limited his own game participation to influence the outcome of one or more bets on his performance in at least one Raptors game, right? So at least one Raptors game. I think that's the game that he went out of the game with an eye injury. In the March 20 game, Porter played only 3 minutes, right? That's the game that the guy bet the 80,000 on March 20 game. He only played 3 minutes, claiming that he felt ill. Due to the unusual betting activity and actions of the player, the $80,000 proposition bet was frozen and was not paid out. So the dude didn't even get his 1.1 million. They didn't want to pay that junk out anyway. They was like, man, find something. It's got to be something. That dude played 3 minutes. That's suspicious. He played 3 minutes and somebody won 1 million. See if you can connect the dots between them two. In addition, from January through March 2024, while traveling with the Raptors or the Raptors 905, the Raptors NBA G League affiliate, Porter placed at least 13 bets on NBA games using the Associates online betting account. These bets range from sizes of $15 to $22,000 for a total of $54,094. The total payout from these bets was $76,059, resulting in net winnings of $21,965. Man, he doing like it. The math ain't mathing, man. The math is not mathing. None of these bets involve any game in which Porter played. So the stuff that Porter, when they look at his activity in betting on games, he never betted on his own game. So he didn't break the NBA rule in that sense where he betted on his own game, right? That's what some of the guys was getting suspended for last season. I think it was somebody suspended for the whole season. So he didn't bet on his own game. What they're saying is this guy that won $1 million got information from Porter that he wasn't going to play. And I want to know how they connected that dot. None of these bets involve any game in which Porter played. 3 of the bets were multi-game parlay bets that included one Raptors game, in which Porter bet that the Raptors would lose. All 3 bets lost. The suspicious bets, those bets are not even suspicious. The suspicious bets involving Porter's performance in the Raptors March 20 game were brought to the NBA's attention by licensed sport. So just like I thought, the sports book betting place is the one who brought this to the NBA's attention. Hey, somebody just won $1 million, and we don't like that. Can you look into this to see if there was anything that happened? We froze the money so we won't have to pay to it, but we really need you to find something so we won't have to pay this money out. Attention by licensed sporting betting operators and an organization that monitors legal betting markets. These findings are based on the information available to the league's investigators at this time. The league's investigation remains open and may result in further findings. The NBA has shared and will continue to share information with federal prosecutors about this time. So the investigation is still open, but they suspended him and banned him for life. That's jacked up. I wish somebody would open an investigation on me and still be investigated, but already gave me a punishment. Ain't no way in the world I'm taking that just on the chin like that, man. That is crazy, man. An official sports bet and welching on a bet. That's pretty much what they did, man. They didn't want to pay it. They don't want to pay it, man. That is crazy, man. Like how did somebody just win $1 million and all of a sudden that's suspicious to you? You know, they won $1 million and was like, man, how they win this money? And they looked and was like, oh, the dude they betted on only played 3 minutes. I wonder, did he know that he was only gonna play 3 minutes? Like, this is crazy to me, man. Like, you can't come out and say all this thing. I need to know like, you got to tell me more than this. You have to tell me, yes, we were able to link through text messages or through phone calls that Jontay Porter told him that he wouldn't go play the whole game, or something like a text message, a phone recording, or a confession by the dude that won the $1.1 million, which I doubt you got, because if that will put him in, he did something illegal. It's like insider trading. So they're not saying that someone told on him. If the dude that won $1.1 million didn't tell on Porter, and they don't have no phone records to prove it, like, how are they connecting the dots from Porter to the dude that won the money? Unless they just, like, even if that was my friend, you still got to connect the dots. You still got to, you got to prove that I told him that I wasn't going to play. And then you have to prove that my injury that I left the game for wasn't legit. Like, at the end of the day, when I leave a game for an injury, I still, even if I felt ill or whatever the case may be, I still got to go get checked out by a trainer. It's just weird to me, man. Very weird. But if a person winning big raises that many eyebrows, let that be a warning to ask you, thinking is a word. You're right. You're right, man, because the house supposed to win. And if you do win, it ain't supposed to be no $1.1 million. You ain't supposed to go out there and win the lottery. And most people that's betting ain't got $80,000 to bet unless you the mafia or the mob. And it's weird that don't nobody from the mafia or the mob really get caught up in this stuff. Because I know that, I mean, like Shaq just said it. Like we pay referees to help us out. And even when Donahue got in trouble, he was the only one who went down. Nobody from the mob that he was giving the information to went down. I find that very weird. Man. But thanks for the super chat, Roland Curtis, man. Can Porter and all NBA players appeal lifetime bans? That's a good question. I doubt it. If that was the case, we'll see OJ Mayo back in the league. We ain't seen Tyreek Evans. We ain't seen OJ. And you can get a silent ban. You can get a ban that's unofficial, because I know Marbury got banned, and he had to go to China. Like, they didn't ban him officially or formally, but Marbury was doing things that was making David Stern upset. And I don't know if y'all was watching how everything unfolded, but there was a time where Marbury, when he first started his shoe brand called Starbury, his whole thing was that he was trying to get it to where these athletes understood that they don't have to go to Nike, Adidas, or Reebok. They can make their own. Like if I'm the brand and I'm 90% the reason why you selling shoes, why do I need to go to Nike and do that? I can have my own brand. Why I can't be as big as Nike if I'm LeBron or Michael or Kobe? Why do I have to go and sign to you, right? So Marbury was trying to drive that point home, which Nike and the NBA are partners. So it don't take a genius for to know that Nike might have talked to David Stern and was like, hey, look, we supposed to be getting money together, and you got a player that's actively building up momentum to be our competitor. And if he is allowed to do this, what if someone bigger than him catch wind of it and decide to do it, right? So a couple of series of events happened, right? Marbury used to, during the game, wear his Starbury logo on his headband. And David Stern came out and banned all headbands that wasn't official partner with the NBA, right? And I think the players kind of got pissed off about that. It was an uproar, and then David Stern came out and was like, forget it. You can only wear headbands with the NBA logo on it. So that's when all the players started kind of like silently protesting and wearing the NBA headband upside down. So the NBA logo was upside down, right? And then Marbury was like, I got one better for you. Yeah, I can't wear the headband, but guess what I'm about to go do? I'm about to go get the tattoo of my logo on the side of my head. You can't stop that. So Marbury is still out there with his Starbury logo tattooed on the side of his head. There's no rule. Like David Stern can't do nothing about that. But he don't like losing. So what did he do? As soon as they started messing with Marbury, because all of a sudden the New York Knicks benched him and wouldn't play him. And he was riding the bench the whole season. I think Isaiah Thomas was the coach at that time. And then he was able to get a trade to Boston. He finished the season out with Boston, went to like the second round of the playoffs, played decent. And then after that, his contract was up and nobody would sign him. And I know it was because he had that little war with David Stern about his logo and trying to advertise his stuff, which is, a direct competitor of every other shoe that's dealing with the NBA, right? So he had to go to China. He was in his prime. Imagine right now somebody the age, because I think Marbury might have been 30 when this happened. He might have been 28, 29, 30. So imagine Jamal Murray right now if his career was just ended and he had to go finish his career in China. That's basically what happened to Marbury. All over advertising his own brand, right? So David Stern was he didn't play, man. Yep, that's why he got it tatted on his head, man. That is why he got tatted on his head. Yep, it was crazy, man. But imagine him not being able to play the game he loved because they didn't want him to advertise his stuff, man. Like, and then all of a sudden, all 30 owners decide, we don't want to sign you. We don't want to sign a all-star in his prime. Imagine that. Boogie Cousins is dealing with it. I don't know what happened with Boogie Cousins or who upset, but nobody would sign him. Thanks for the super chat, John. There's a NBA analyst named Ron Ecker on YouTube. He's very keen on the game. I think you might find him interesting. Shout out to Man Down Sports, man. Thanks, bro. I'll check him out. All right, I'm not gonna open the phone lines up for this topic, man. Because I want to go ahead and get into this next one, right? Let me see. Unless y'all want me to open the phone lines up. Appreciate the history behind it. It's all adding up to me now. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Yeah, man. Man, the NBA is the type of business we're dealing with the NBA is unreal. All right, let's move on. Paul Pierce, right? So Paul Pierce on his podcast, he got a podcast. I know he got the certified with KG, but he got his own podcast that's called The Truth Lounge. And he had a guest on there, a guy named Jay Crow. They played about 13 years in the league. He played for the Clippers. Not a household name, but he, to play 13 years in the league, that's saying something, right? That's 13 years, right? So Paul Pierce had an interesting take as it pertains to the GOAT debate and LeBron James and all that stuff, man. So I'll play for you this whole conversation, but the back and forth that he had with Jay Crow was very interesting. And Jay Crow, is his name Crow? Am I saying that right? I think it is. Crow. It's Crow. It should be Crow. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I like the back and forth they had, and I kind of like the perspective that Jay Crow came from when he was explaining himself. And he basically said, man, like, look, let's just stop pretending like it's Jordan. Like, why are we even having this conversation? It's Jordan. And he explained why, and he said some funny stuff. Specifically, he said some funny stuff about Kobe, which was hilarious. But we'll get into it. I'll play for you what he said.
The other day, I said, look, if LeBron win a chip this year, undisputed GOAT, what you think about that? This year, as a team that's in a normal year without the play-in would not make the playoffs. If he can't be the GOAT.
No, because this is why. It's like his accolades will stand. He will be on the hill, and he's going to have so much things to say about his career. He's all time.
He's going to have so much things.
But Jordan was another thing. He was so far head and shoulders. He was like the truest thing we've had in sports, like Mayweather. Like when Mayweather said, you could have bet on me, you'll be rich by now.
You got to bet on Jordan every time?
Yeah, Jordan was the truest thing we ever seen. Once he figured, first of all, look at his elevation. He elevated. He stayed with that franchise. He rode it. They got some young pieces. Look at Scottie Pippen got his trainer, start working.
If he
lifted everybody.
So like, damn, if you say LeBron brought a championship, he's already brought a championship to 3 franchises, which I don't know no other franchise player who's done that. Not a franchise player. Yeah, players that moved around. Ain't nobody just like, soon as he got there.
It's a new thing. It's a new day. These guys, like what Kobe did to get his 5, he breathed. He breathed life into this.
You got Kobe over LeBron?
Yes.
Ooh.
I do.
So
I'm not a numbers guy.
So LeBron not only can't be the GOAT, he can't be over Kobe. No. So where does that put Kobe in the conversation?
Because this is why.
For GOAT.
Let me tell you, this is how I don't do my GOAT on stats and all this. I do my stuff on if we line up, who you taking? If I got to
Kobe have an argument for GOAT?
No.
But if LeBron can't be the GOAT, but you argue, there's an argument for him to GOAT, but you have Kobe over LeBron, why doesn't Kobe have an argument for GOAT?
Kobe is the greatest copycat artist of all time. There's too many. This guy just literally stole this guy's style like I've never seen before. Yeah. So this guy was the Picasso.
So, okay.
This was already the blueprint. He just stepped and said,
okay. So if you got somebody who paint the same picture and it's the
He's
same
McDowell's.
details.
He's McDowell's on Coming to America.
No, he's not McDowell's. He's not McDowell's.
McDonald's, a billion served. It's already working. Oh, let's do the McDowell's.
You can't do my man Kobe
Come
like
on,
that,
dog.
man.
Kobe is McDowell's. Jordan is, come on, dude.
That's crazy.
There's no topping Jordan. If you wasn't there, then that's like, I understand. You missed it.
All right, so
It's nobody ever been more true to this game. You just knew what it was.
Jordan
you showed up every night.
So there's
played
no, there's
all the
nothing
games.
LeBron can
No,
do.
dude. No, man, you're great, though.
There's nothing he can do.
No.
So that means you're basing it on what?
You can't catch Thriller. I don't care about this new technology, these new singers, all this new dancing. You cannot catch Michael Jackson Thriller. That's till I die. Somebody got to come up with a whole new thing. We got to start figuring something else out. Michael Jackson, you can't catch that. Just like you just can't do what Jordan did.
Damn, so he can't catch Jordan.
No, he benefited off Jordan's success. Jordan
I
is the
think
reason why LeBron.
and you know
I'm
I'm a big critic of LeBron. Listen, I just think like beating the 73 and 9 Warriors down 3-1, greatest comeback in NBA playoff championship history. That is a mountain that nobody has ever climbed. If you win this year as a 10th, 9th, 8th seed, that's never been done.
Why shouldn't they win?
So that conversation went on. It went on, and toward the end, he gave his top 3, and he said his top 3 is Mike, Kobe, then LeBron. So he's not slighting LeBron. He's just saying Kobe's better. And even though he's saying Kobe was McDowell to McDonald's, which is in a way kind of true, you know, it's okay. So the reason why it's not the best analogy, but I understand what he's saying. He's saying that, you know, this came first. I copied everything about that. Right now, the only reason why it's not quite McDowell's and McDonald's is because McDowell's was copying everything, but trying to kind of flip it, invert, and trying to invert it. Like, okay, you got the buns with no sesame seeds. I got sesame seeds on my buns. You know what I mean? Your M look like, so Kobe wasn't doing that. He was saying, you perfected that fadeaway. I'm going to perfect that fadeaway because I understand why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? I understand why you're doing that. I'm going to do it as well. Right. So he wasn't like just doing a low budget version of Michael Jordan. He was saying, I'm going to perfect that as well. You got that mid range. I'm going to perfect that. You played in the triangle and perfect the triangle. I'm going to perfect that. You played lockdown defense. I'm going to play lockdown defense. You get what I'm saying? So he wasn't just trying to do the same thing, but in a different way. He was like, I'm doing everything you did, which is respectable if you see the greatest person you ever seen play the game and you're saying we have the same makeup all we both 6'6", we both got the same amount of body mass and we toned the same way and all that stuff is the same. Yeah, we both athletic. Yeah, I'm going to copy that guy. So that's respectable. I'm good with that, right? But what I really want to get into what he said is that Paul Pierce started this conversation by saying that which is odd to me because LeBron is the only guy that wants to be in this conversation of the best player that ever played or the greatest of all time. But instead of really trying to achieve it by becoming the greatest player, as like by getting in the lab and like honing your skills like Kobe did. That's what Kobe was doing. That's what Mike did. Mike said, I'm going to go in and polish my game so much that I have no flaws. And Kobe said, I'm going to do the same thing. And LeBron came by and was like, I'm going to do the same thing. And then halfway through it, he realized I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is something different. And I'm going to go get the stats. I still want the rings. I got to catch Mike in rings, but these stats I can easily go get because I play a style that nobody else play. I play point guard and I play primary scorer. They not doing that, so I can dominate these stats. That was his path. Following Michael Jordan and Kobe's path of being perfect, near perfect players with very few flaws in their game. He didn't want to go down that path, right? He'd rather go get a teammate that was flawless, like Kyrie or like Wade, a teammate that had less flaws than him, and say, I rely on him. I do everything as far as the stats. The team will be on my shoulders and all that good stuff, and then the rest of it, the media take care of for me, right? That's how he did it. So when Paul Pierce and anybody that's trying to support LeBron or LeBron himself say things like, when I beat that 71 or 73-9 team, that made me the GOAT because I beat a great team. Or if I go get Kareem's record, I'm the GOAT. Or like Paul Pierce is saying now, if he win a title with this team he has now in LA, he's the GOAT. He's the only person that people make these one-time events. If you do this one thing, you're the GOAT. I've never heard that from nobody. I've never heard someone say, if Eli Manning beat the undefeated Patriots, he's the GOAT. Or if you dunk on Sean Bradley or whoever the tallest man, Wemby right now, if you dunk on Wemby, you're the GOAT. Or if you cross up Jordan, you're the GOAT. Like, who is making these one-time events and saying, if you can do this, you're the GOAT, and not saying what really makes you the GOAT or what really made Jordan the GOAT? Because if we really go back to thinking about what made Jordan the GOAT, what made Jordan the GOAT is because he polished his game almost to a flawless level. Not only did he polish his game to a flawless level, he took that flawless game of his, he did it on both ends of the floor. He played all the games. He went to 6 finals and won 6 finals, didn't go to a game 7, right? He did all these things. And when we watch him play, he rose to the occasion every single time, right? He was a fierce competitor. Every bar that you can raise as far as like, I want to build a perfect player mentally, spiritually, emotionally, his body, his endurance, his energy, his athleticism, his skill set. Like, how often do you see a guy that's a freak athlete also have the most technically sound game that you can think of? It's unfair to be Mike Tyson and Mayweather at the same time. How can you be a freak athlete physically and be Mayweather and be the most technically sound boxer? How do you make Mayweather and put his technique in Deontay Wilder's body? How do you put Mayweather in freaking Muhammad Ali's body? You get what I'm saying? So you got the most technically sound basketball player with the freak athleticism in one, and that's not it. Leadership, drive, tenacity, defense, doing it on both ends of the floor. He played all the games. He got heart. I mean, like, this is crazy to put all of that in one player. You put all of that in one player, and then you look at what he was able to do and dominate the game for how long he did it, for his 6 championships and all this stuff. That's what made him the GOAT. It's a whole bunch of stuff that he just exemplified greatness in. Right? Now, Kobe was trying to copy that, and he did a good job. But LeBron decided he didn't want to copy that and follow that blueprint. He decided, I got a different way I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because if I play 21 years and I average this amount of points, I can get Kareem's record. And if I get Kareem's record, that's something Kobe or Mike didn't do. Why Mike didn't do it? He said he didn't want it. He retired after 15 years. He really retired after 13 years, but came back to play 2 with the Wizards just because he didn't like the way they was displaying heart on the court. I'm about to step out of my front office, out of my suit, being retired almost 3 years, and I'm coming to come down there and show y'all how to dive on the floor for balls at the age of 39, right? He didn't come out of the front office and say, let's build a super team, go get me Anthony Davis, or go get me Tim Duncan, or go get me Garnett, go get me Dwight Howard. And like, think about the players that was in the league when Jordan got in the league that's equivalent to Anthony Davis, Rondo, Dwight Howard, right? And then a year after that, Melo, Westbrook, right? Think about those players and think to yourself, if MJ really wanted to try to compete when he came down to play with the Wizards, he would have been trying to do trades. Hey, get me these guys. He wasn't doing that. He came down there and played with what was down there because he had the love for the game. He wasn't down there to compile his stats. He wasn't down there to try to get Kareem's record. He wasn't even really down there trying to get an easy path to the ring. Right? That wasn't on his mind. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't understand why we keep coming up with these new stipulations. Oh, if LeBron do this, then he's the GOAT, which is crazy because they said when he passed Kareem, he'll be the GOAT. And then people still don't think he's the GOAT. Now they got a new thing. Well, if he do this, he'll be the GOAT. That just tells you that once the nostalgia kind of wears off, oh man, he passed Kareem for like 2 weeks. We'll talk about, man, this dude's the GOAT. This dude's the GOAT. And then after 2 weeks, it wears down, and then the smoke settles, and you realize, man, it's Mike. It's Mike. It's always gonna be Mike. They did it when he won the bubble ring. Man, he don't want a ring with 3 different franchises. Everywhere he go, he gets a ring, right? That was the narrative. And for a month or two, everybody was like, man, he's the GOAT. And then when the smoke settles, well, guess what happened? The debate starts over again. And the same people who think Michael Jordan is the GOAT still think Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And then the same people who think LeBron James is the GOAT still are debating, saying if he does this, then he's the GOAT. Like, I thought he was the GOAT when he beat the 73-19. Then I thought he was the GOAT when he won the bubble ring. 3rd ring with 3rd franchise. Then I thought he was the GOAT when he passed Kareem. Now they're saying he'll be the GOAT if he won the ring this year. Right? And then they saying he's the GOAT if he once he the first person to get 40,000, 11K, and 11K. Like, it's always going to move the goalpost, and then what's going to happen when he retires, the smoke's going to settle, and then the next person that they want to give GOAT title to, they're going to be comparing it to Michael Jordan, not LeBron. Right? So that's my thoughts on that, man. I'm going to open the phone lines up, man, and let y'all call in, let me know what y'all think about what Paul Pierce said and what Crow said. And I get into some of these comments while I'm waiting for the call in. Oh shoot, dunking above Kobe. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, it's Funky Town. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing? What's your thoughts?
Hey, look, I love your analysis. I love what the brother was saying because we've had this conversation before. But here's the thing: think about it. You ever done? You know how you do like the knowledge machine?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You work your leg. But have you ever been on an ISO machine where you got to work both ways? When you got to push it out and you catching weight each way. You got the tension each way.
Yeah.
You ever worked on one of them?
Yeah.
Where you got to absolutely, like you working the muscle both ways at the same time.
Yeah.
That's Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan, he wasn't just, oh, well, wow, look at there. He can lift that much with his leg. Outstanding. Nah. He was doing it both ways. When you watch it, if you watch what he did, he'd get down in position. It wasn't no half, he wasn't half-assing it. He was out there on defense with the same amount of intensity that he was on offense.
Yeah.
It wasn't no playing no game. But like I really like how the man said, it ain't gonna be nobody beating Thriller. I'm in the same boat. Until I hear Thriller, somebody else come up with something that beats Thriller, you just can't beat Thriller.
That's true.
And until I see somebody who can beat who shows me from start to finish, Jordan, they beating Jordan. I'm sorry, 2011 existed. I was there. I saw it. All right, I'm from Fort Worth. I saw what happened in 2011. I saw that.
We all did.
I also saw what happened in 1998 when Jordan scored more than 50% of those the Bulls' points in Game 6. I saw that. I'm sorry. There's just what he said is not. It's another situation. You're over here at this table. This guy got his own lounge over here, and you're not getting that lounge. There's just it. You know, this generation, they keep want to make him like he's their avatar. He's the guy, their example or whatever.
Yeah.
But Jordan played 82 games how many times?
I think 10.
9?
Yeah,
9 or 10?
Yeah, 9 or 10 times he played 82. One time he
injured,
played 79.
He went out because he was rested. He was out because he was injured.
Correct.
And like you said, when he retired, but what do you say, the 13 years? It was really 11 and a half years if you take the injuries.
Correct.
If you go all the way to 15 years, it's really 13 and a half years.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So let's please. And top 5 scorer, he's still top 5 scorer. And out of all the people in the top 10, look at how many years all those people in the top 10 in all-time scoring, how many years they played. And then look at how many years. You really get your feelings hurt. You see how many games they played. Go ahead and go how many games? No. Hey, just break it down. They played all these people, their game totals. And then you'll look real foolish when you start trying to say, oh, well, this guy beat the 73-9. Well, the question should be is why wasn't he on the 73-9 team? That's
a very good question.
He was in the weak East.
Yeah.
Why wasn't his team the 73-9? Why isn't there a dynasty that he's attached to?
Yeah, and and the thing I don't like about it is that, like, you keep coming up with these things that are unique situations that no one's going to be in unless they, how can you use a standard of, oh man, he did it with 3 different franchises? You know what you got to do in order to win with 3 different franchises? You got to team hop from franchise to franchise. And the great players wasn't but the great players wasn't team hopping from team to team. So that's something. Hold on. Let me say this. No one's going to be able to do that unless they team hop. No one wants to do that. No, and then the other thing, oh man, he beat a 73-9 team. A 73-9 team would have to exist in Jordan's era in order for him to beat it. And it just so happened that he was leading that team, right? So like the things that they're making up in their head, I just don't get it.
They're taking these very specific things, like literally, like if this comic came in on a Friday and then this happened on a Tuesday and then this happened, no one else has ever done that before.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably true because no one else had the opportunity to do it. Jordan built his team. He built his team. He struggled with his team.
He built it and he went to war with it continuously.
Image. He built it in his image. That toughness that team had, his image. The defense that they played. Look at how they reacted when they just go back and look at those games. Look at how many times they not just him, but that whole team, once they got the ball, the turnover, it was a pack of wolves going the other way. They did not play with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was him. That was because of him. It wasn't because of I'm gonna go play with Akeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Which is what LaFlop did when he went that is literally the equivalent of what LaFlop did when he went to Miami.
Yeah.
That's literally the equivalent of what he would have done.
Yeah, I agree.
Now you think about that, brother.
Yeah, I will, man.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, definitely hit the like button if y'all haven't already done it, man. Thanks for the call, Funky Time.
You got it, brother.
All right, man.
Out here.
Yep. Good call. That was a good call. But yeah, he right. LeBron did do some team hopping. He did go join some people he should have been competing against. Rod from Georgia, what's up?
Hey, what's happening, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing? I got y'all up late tonight, don't I?
Oh, you know it, but you know I'm gonna be here even when I don't call. I'm here, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, you mentioned it before. I know you did mention it before. You say he don't got Kobe number 2. How the closest thing you've seen to Michael Jordan? You just said he was a clone of Michael Jordan, but you got Michael Jordan number 1. but you don't have Kobe number 2.
No, the dude
That don't make no sense to me.
No, the dude that was talking did have him number 2.
Yeah, but Paul Pierce didn't, right?
Nah, Paul Pierce was just playing devil's advocate. You know how Paul Pierce really feel, man. Paul Pierce in the media now, man. He playing the game. He playing the game, man. He know.
Okay, yeah, that right there, and you mentioned, how you going from team to team.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know how hard it is to win rings with this team, and then go to another team to win rings. Wait a minute, now you want to use that as an argument? I got one name for you. They got more rings than all of them. Name is Robert Horry. See where I'm going?
Kinda. I don't like where you're going, but I'm following you.
He went from team to team. He got 3 with San Antonio, 3 with the Lakers, couple with. He went from team to team, gathering rings.
Yeah,
but that don't make him the greatest of all time. But one thing I do agree with Paul Pierce said. I don't measure my GOAT, like other people. I say Kobe's the best because he won championships with the least amount of help. Scotty got every ring Jordan got. The last 2 Kobe got, he got by himself. No disrespect to Pau Gasol, but they put the bar on the ground when they put him as high as they put him, top 75, Hall of Fame. I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think they lowered the bar a little bit though.
Yeah.
But
you know
Kobe
what?
got 2 rings with the least help.
So I would say this. I don't like when we say somebody did it by themselves. I don't really think nobody, because every championship team be having some really good talent built around it, man. And
right. When I say by himself, I mean without another superstar.
Yeah,
Ron needs another superstar.
Well, we gotta say that then. Say without another superstar, because I don't like diminishing guys' career or their talents by saying that they were a nobody
by
right?
himself. I feel what you're saying.
Because Lamar Odom's a good player. Trevor Ariza played very well in that Lakers uniform. I'm so mad that he didn't re-sign with them. I think that
was there too.
Yeah, Derek Fisher, a very good player. Powell, Bonham was what he was, whatever he was, and they had Artest a couple of years too. So, yeah, I like the team they built around Kobe. I like that squad. So I wouldn't say he was by himself, but you're right, he didn't have another superstar.
Oh yeah, that's where I just say the least help. With the least help, he didn't have as much help as other people did. So that's why I got Kobe
number 1 over MJ.
Number 1, go.
It's very interesting.
MJ.
Very interesting. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Scotty got every ring Jordan got.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
But then Jordan say he wouldn't have 6 rings if Scotty wasn't there.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
It came out of Jordan, man.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
If he didn't have Scotty, he wouldn't have 6 rings.
You think that's what that means? So you don't think there was
Jordan said it.
So you think out of all the players in the NBA, Scotty was the only one that could have got 6 rings with MJ?
Hey, I'm just saying what MJ said, man.
No,
he said he wouldn't have one.
No. So what? When MJ says that means, listen, man, he was he was just as important to these 6 rings as I was, right? He was just as important. So was Phil. That's what you say. Yeah, I wouldn't have done this without him. Or like when I say I wouldn't have got through what I got through without my mom. That don't mean if my mom wasn't there, I still wouldn't have got through. Somebody else probably would have helped me to get through it. But nah, I'm just speaking facts. So that don't mean if you take Scotty away, then Mike can't get 6 rings. What that just means?
Yeah, it was other players in the league that could have, helped him out if they were on that team. Yeah, of course. I mean, it was great players back then.
Do you think if Shaq and MJ played together, they would get 3 like Kobe did?
So Shaq and
Mike.
Jordan played together?
Yeah. You think they get 3?
Man, they got as many as they wanted.
Okay, so it don't have to be Pippen. Do you think MJ and Hakeem can get 3?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so it didn't have to be Scotty. That's my whole point. It didn't have to be Scottie. And out of all the superstars in the league, if we count Scottie as a superstar, right? Is he better than Hakeem? Is he better than Shaq? Was he better than Penny? Was he better than Pat Ewing? Was he better than Barkley? Was he better than Malone? Like it's probably a lot of superstars that's above Pippen. MJ could have played with those and got 6 rings.
Yeah, but I'm just going about how it actually went down. He could have, yeah, but Scottie was the one that there. Scottie got 6 rings, just like Jordan got 6 rings. And, Jordan had that, or like if any of them other players was there, they'd have been on Jordan's team and on that level superstar, just like you said, and Kobe would have still been in his same situation with Al Gasol and that crew right there, which wouldn't have measured up to Michael and Hakeem or Michael and Shaq,
Okay. All right. I respect that. I respect that. I appreciate the call, man. Let me get maybe 2 more calls in, and then we'll move to the next topic, man. Thanks, Carl.
All right, peace.
All right, big dog. Caller from Los Angeles, what's up?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, what's up, Mel? So yeah, I wanted to talk about this topic with Paul Pierce. Who did Kobe said? He said that he wouldn't have 5 rings if it wasn't for who?
I don't think Kobe said that.
You didn't see that interview where he said if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, he wouldn't have 5 rings?
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he said that.
And because the last caller was talking about things that Jordan said, and then what team did Pippen lead before he went to the Bulls?
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
What said?
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Right. But what team did Paul Gasol lead before he came to the Lakers?
Memphis.
Exactly. So that was for the last caller. So there's one thing that I'm surprised that people don't talk about when it comes to the subject of the GOAT. I don't know. Did you ever see that interview that Jordan did? I think it was on a cigar YouTube channel where they asked him who was the GOAT between Tiger Woods and I forgot the name, the other guy's name. Did you ever see that interview?
I didn't watch the whole thing. No.
Okay. Well, the other guy was trying to get him to say Jack Nicholson. I think that's his name. So the other guy was trying to get Jordan to say Jack Nicholson just based off of the number of masters that Jack Nicholson had over Tiger Woods. But Jordan said you can't just go by those masters or accolades. He said you also have to consider impact. And he said that if it wasn't for Tiger Woods playing golf, you wouldn't see so many non-white people pursuing golf. So when it comes to the GOAT conversation in basketball, I think we could all agree that the big. That's why a lot of people were mad at LeBron for saying something about the influence, because sometimes people use influence and impact interchangeably. But I think we could all agree that Jordan has had the biggest impact and the biggest influence ever. So that's why I always think that it's hard for somebody to come and challenge Jordan on the GOAT, because it's the same reason why Muhammad Ali, even though he didn't have a perfect record like Floyd Mayweather, and even though Muhammad Ali has lost fights and things like that, his impact, I think, is why a lot of people consider Muhammad Ali to be the greatest boxer of all time, and same thing for Michael Jordan. So I wanted to ask you, Mel, when it comes to Kobe and LeBron, who do you think has had the biggest impact? Either in I'm talking about NBA. Pop culture, biggest impact on players, the media, fans, other countries, United States. Who do you think has had the bigger impact, Kobe or LeBron?
That's actually a tough one. Man, it's probably a toss-up, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. I want to say Kobe. Just based on the reaction that he receiving when they was overseas for the Olympics and how everybody was on Kobe that way. But I mean, you got to think, man, Kobe was such a charismatic type of individual, man. He spoke several languages. You know, he related to so many different countries, man. They love Kobe overseas. They love Kobe over here. So
I think Kobe, I think that's where Kobe's biggest argument for him being over LeBron in terms of even greatness. Not just obviously, you know, the skills. Kobe has the skills to be better, and he's considered better than LeBron in terms of skills for the most part. But even when it comes to greatness, I think Kobe's impact, as far as like you said, when he said they went overseas to China, they said that Kobe's the amount of love that Kobe received was almost the same amount, if not more, than Yao Ming. So and now LeBron, but LeBron has had a big impact. They just said that Caitlin Clark she's deciding between Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour for I guess her next shoe deal when she goes into the WNBA, and it looks like she's going to go with Nike. But I was thinking that as far as the NBA players, that's another thing where Michael Jordan it's very hard to catch him. You know, they said I remember 2019. It seemed like they said that he was being his shoes were outselling LeBron's 4-1, and I don't know where it is now. But I was thinking that, you know, that's something else that Kobe was on his way to doing as far as the endorsement of shoe deals, but then the whole thing happened. You know, that kind of derailed his popularity. But I think that's another thing that we can look at is that, you know, if LeBron was on that level, he would be if he was really at least close to Michael Jordan. I think if he had made such a big impact on pop culture and the NBA, I think that his shoes and his brand would be closer to Michael Jordan's, and it's just a big gap. So I just want to leave with that. So thank you for the call.
All right, thanks, big dog. All right, let's take one more phone call. Good call. That was a good call. But yeah, I mean, impact is huge too. I mean, I get that too. I mean, and I understand that that's part of the reason why people ain't go catch Mike. You know, I'm just looking at it from basketball. I still haven't seen nobody but Kobe catch him or get close to him as a player, and that's real huge to me. Like if it was a pie, you know, that'd probably be 3/4 of the pie. How good you are as a player, how complete you are as a player on both ends of the floor. Haven't seen nobody better than Kobe and Mike ever. As far as like evaluating players on both ends of the floor, Kobe and Mike, hands down, head and shoulders above everybody, right? So that's 3/4 of the pie for me. The other part of it is the winning. You know, what did you do with that complete game? You know, and for Mike, he took it to 6 and Kobe took it to 5. And a lot of people will say, well, Russell took it to 11 or however many he won, which is a good point. But that 3/4 of the pie, he don't have like Kobe and Mike had. He don't have that 3/4 of the pie of him making himself such a complete basketball player that is overwhelmingly, you have to acknowledge these guys, and that's Kobe and Mike. So yeah, he got that other 1/4 of, he won more than Kobe and Mike. He got the 11 rings. That's great. But that other big chunk of the pie, what you are as a player, that plays a huge part. All right, what's up, man? What's your thoughts?
What's up with you, player?
What's good? What's good?
Boss King checking in, man. What's up, man?
Man, I ain't heard from you in like 2 weeks, man. Where you been?
Nah, you know, man, because right now I just went on YouTube and caught you.
Oh yeah,
sometimes we busy and sometimes you at a different time. You know how it goes. You gotta be hustling out here, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But it seems like I got it on the right topic. I ain't know what Paul Pierce really said though. You feel me? But just off where I called it and the callers that called before, it was just some interesting thing that I wanted to point it out. You know, when they're speaking of impact, popularity, or even the best ever, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So now in terms of impact, to me, Kobe's just all natural. We all know, even because I know you a Jordan guy, although, you know, you respect Kobe. Same as me, I respect Jordan, but Kobe's he's my favorite player, right?
Right.
But to me, Kobe, Jordan and LeBron got help from the media. The only difference is I feel like LeBron, like the media is trying to trick us about LeBron. Jordan is real, you feel me? But also the media loved him as well. It's like KD is real, but the media don't love him.
Media don't love him at all.
Right.
Or
they
Kyrie.
don't love him at all.
Yeah.
Or Kyrie.
Yeah.
Man, they're doing Kyrie wrong. Man, Stephen ain't going to hell like 2 times over. He probably there already. Something wrong with that dude, man.
I
Bro,
agree.
but yeah, so for me, in terms of impact, bro, Kobe was just everything that you would want your kids to be like. Like, even when David Stern was going on about the dress code, right? You see my name, the Posh King?
Yeah.
Bro, Kobe, the way he dressed and going to like work and everything in basketball made me figure out from an earlier age, like at certain times you gotta look official. You gotta have that suit in your closet, you know, you gotta know how to. So I've been like bow ties, suspender, you know. Kobe didn't smoke, not even a cigar. I don't remember catching Kobe with. Didn't drink, didn't have no gambling problem like Jordan that they hid from us. You feel me? And whatever LeBron is doing, they're just not telling us like about what's going on with him. You feel me? They're either hiding it or whatever do comes out about him with the Daryl Morey and the China situation. He just can't help himself, and he knew. To me, LeBron know about, like, if he said that, you know, social media, everybody gonna get on him. But, like, he had to do it because they got him on the contract. Like, LeBron, you gotta go out there and say this. You feel me? So, to me, Kobe Bryant, like, for me, is always, to me, he is the best because then Jordan set the blueprint for him and he's a super learner. So, he learned off of everything from Jordan, and not only learned, he mastered it. And I just feel like, just like my argument that I made when I called in already, students, especially a star pupil, it's just inherent that they get better than who's teaching them because of nuance or because of how the world is moving.
Yeah.
So my last point with the last callers, you know, in terms of when one of the callers was saying Kobe did more with less, and I truly always believe that, and plus, Kobe, out of all of them, beat the toughest team. Because the same age that was Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and them, Kobe was that same age. So nobody gonna tell me about old. That team was better than Golden State at their best. Golden State wouldn't have stand a chance against that team. And LeBron beating 75 Golden State team or whatever may be the case, I just know personally, even with KD and Kobe without Shaq with that Paul Gasol team, in my opinion, some way, somehow, just like I think Jordan would have, Kobe would have found a way to beat Golden State, even with KD.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I just believe that he would have found a way. So, man, even this thing that LeBron is doing with JJ Redick, it's the worst thing I've ever seen ever in my life. These two, I heard them talking about the Orlando series. And I remember watching that series. Let me put this theory to you, man, because I always keep on forgetting it. I wanted to shoot out this theory to you, right?
Okay.
Bro, I really think LeBron James' advisors told him, yo, throw this series against Magic, because all Kobe fans are going to say when we say he's better than you, what you going to do about that 4-0 in that final in 2009? He would have gotten whooped, and not only whooped, he would have gotten whooped very badly. Like the record margin that he lost in 2011, Kobe would have did that to him. Now, people is not going to be, oh, yeah, they just remember how he lost in 2007. People would have been saying how Kobe beat him in 2009. Not just how he lost, but how Kobe whooped his ass. Bro, LeBron James, you see when they say aim for the stars, you know, aim for the moon, you land on the stars?
Yeah.
That's what the media is doing with LeBron. Oh, he's number 2. So some people put him even in top 5. LeBron James is not a top 5 basketball player.
Yeah.
He's good, he's smart, he listens to his advisors, but he's just not. This man airballs free throws and travel every game like he's going to China. And every players that play with him, they have to dumb down their game to give him an open lane. Bro, Kobe build every player that plays with Kobe used their strengths.
Which
Kobe
is
game played around their strengths. Rather than taking away their strength, Kobe game fitted around their strength. So I do understand where people will bring up off of how good, you know, Jordan and everyone was, but you have to do it. Shaq is not easy to play with. And people talking, I'm trying to talk fast because I know we ain't got that much time, right?
Right.
Moving, but people, this last thing I want to give you, bro. People keep on moving to Kobe and Shaq. Bro, Kobe was the reason. Shaq was the leader. Sometimes you have, like, if you watch soccer, you'll understand this a lot, bro. Sometimes you have a midfield player, right? And he's the architect. He's the engine of the car. Without that engine, that steering wheel, nothing is not moving. Bro, Kobe was the playmaker. And Shaq talking about Kobe passed the ball and trying to call Kobe showboat. So let me ask you, which one is easier to do, man? LeBron coming in, everyone is praising LeBron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kobe coming in, wanna be Jordan, showboat. What you think you about to come do? Coming out of high school, all of that. Fighting against the naysayers than actually being, I don't even know what word to put on what they did for LeBron, right? Fighting against all your doubters, even your own teammates. Shaq had pretty much 80% of Kobe Bryant teammates hating him. Bro, a lot of things I've been hearing about Shaq, bro. Like, Shaq done this. He's a crazy-ass dude, bro. And even how you see how he goes at Charles sometimes, he would try and go way personal, calling Charles bum and all of that. And Charles just kill him with humor and don't let it go to that extent. But I truly believe he's one of the worst teammates any young player could have come in the league with. If Shaq was Tim Duncan, he and Kobe would have at least won 8 rings.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna take that off the air because I'm gonna respond to some of that. I'm gonna take that off the air because I do got an opinion about Shaq, man.
Bet, my man.
All right. Thanks for the call.
All right, man.
Yep.
Bless.
Yep. Nah, so he making a good point, man. Shaq is, well, I don't know about now, but he definitely was, and some of the stories are coming out now, man. Definitely was a very childish, unserious type of individual, man. I like to have a lot of fun in the locker room as well, but Kobe was a serious dude. He was a dude that was serious about his craft, serious about basketball. Basketball was it for him. He was that serious. So yeah, he makes a good point, man. It's one story that's floating out there about that just came out about Shaq taking one of his teammates' mouth guard and wearing it in his underwear for the entire practice, right? While they worked out and all that stuff, and then he took it out and put it back in his locker, and the dude put it in his mouth the next game and played like that. And the dude probably didn't even know it, and somebody just came out on the podcast and put that information out and put the dude's name out there that it was as well. I forgot who the name was, but that's freaking disgusting, man. Like, seriously, like that's the type of stuff Shaq used to do, man. Like, and there's more stories like that, man. But you know, Kobe was just too serious. They were just two different type of dudes. And the way Kobe kind of treated Dwight when he said this ain't gonna work, he probably kind of felt like that about Shaq as well, but he was just in a different situation where he was the little guy coming in out of high school, and it wasn't much he could say to Shaq. Now they had their words and stuff like that, and their fights and stuff like that. But when Dwight came in, Kobe was Kobe, and it was his organization, and he was able to say, "Nah, dude ain't gonna work." Right? He could see it from the jump. But Dwight had that silliness about him as well. Like Shaq as well. But you know, so it was almost like Kobe was like, I seen this movie before. Nah, this ain't gonna work. All right. But I'm gonna move to the next topic, man. Eddie House. So I did a episode last week or maybe 2 weeks ago when LeBron was having a conversation about how he didn't have what he needed to have the first year they was in Miami when they lost to Dallas. He was like, yeah, we had the big three, but we didn't have the role players we needed. We didn't have all those other pieces we needed. And I thought the team was built pretty good. They had Mario Chalmers, they had Haslam, they had Eddie House, they had Eric Dampier, they had some players. They just didn't play well. They got to the finals. LeBron just didn't show up. Right. So what I would like to hear LeBron say, even years later when he's having his own podcast and talking to JJ Redick, what I would like to hear him say, even if you felt like this, that you didn't have everything, there's a way to diplomatically, speak about it. And what we would like to hear LeBron say is, first of all, show some humility and come out and say, it was on me. I suck. I was the leader of the team. I did this wrong. And then put a period right there, and that's it. So what he did is he showed fake humility by saying, first of all, I suck, because it was 100% obvious that you suck. Right? So you couldn't even get out of that. So you had to show fake humility and say, I suck, first of all. But then you start dumping it and really putting the blame on what the real reason why y'all didn't win. Yeah, I suck, but that's not the reason why we didn't win. The reason why we didn't win is because of these road guys, right? I'm going to play for you how Michael Jordan and Kobe sounded right after a loss, not years later. I'm interviewing you right after you just got put out of the playoffs. And listen to how they show real humility.
It's like, all you can do is wish them good luck. I mean, we fought hard. They were the better team. We went to a 7-game series. What more can we ask for? We want to be where they are, but we still got to win our turn. We're still trying to improve our team. They were the better team, and they played better today.
What's your emotion now, Michael? Sadness, frustration?
Sadly, I'm disappointed, because I wanted to go further. But I got to accept the season that we played. We had a good season. We got this far. We got to look forward to next season. That's the only thing we can do.
Gave it a hell of a run.
Thank you.
Can you assess exactly what went wrong? Was it too many injuries? Was it Shaq's foot at the beginning of the year? Can you begin to assess why you lost this series?
No, I mean, we have a million and one excuses that we could go to. Fact of the matter is, we're not going to make any. They played better than we did in this series. We had opportunities to win it. They didn't go for us. So we just have to regroup. Like I said, next season starts right now, and come back next season and play.
How much harder will you work in this offseason now to get back to the championship?
I'll push myself to exhaustion.
Kobe said after he was asked, what you going to do this offseason to get yourself back here? And he had to pause for a minute because he had tears in his eyes. That's, this dude really want to win. He said, I push myself to exhaustion. And he meant that. Like, he's genuine. He meant that. Like, Kobe is really like that. He didn't go and DJ for the whole summer and like Shaq did and go and get a honorary police badge so you can be a sheriff and ride around the police car. Like, this is the type of clown stuff Shaq was doing. Kobe said, I worked myself to exhaustion, right? That was after the loss to Detroit when they had the Karl Malone, and Karl Malone got hurt. Gary Payton showed up, had a hole in the glove that, he used to be the glove, but he showed up with a hole in the glove that year. Shaq's foot was jacked up and he was 1,000 pounds that year and it got exploded. He didn't give no excuses. And when the first one that you heard with Michael Jordan, that was that game 7, they get put out by Detroit. That's the migraine game that Pippen couldn't play, right? They was trying to give them an out. They're trying to give them an excuse. They wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take the excuse. They were the better team. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. And Michael Jordan said it's just not our time yet. That's the thought process. It ain't our time yet. Get back in the lab and put in some work. Not, oh man. As a matter of fact, I'll just play for you how this went down.
And to think that you guys didn't win an NBA championship, not because LeBron didn't get the job done or Wade didn't get the job done or Bosh didn't, but you didn't.
Okay,
what he said.
What I would say is this.
Yeah.
If we're going to point the fingers.
Let's point it.
We'll point the finger at the fourth quarter, collapsed every game that we had. Actually, you know what? It was 1-1, game 2. We were up. We collapsed in the fourth quarter. They tied it up. We win game 3. We go up 2-1.
Right.
We didn't win another game. So if we're going to, we're going to play the blame game.
Let's play it.
I wasn't out on the court.
Right. Who was on the court?
The man saying that the other guys wasn't getting
Was LeBron on the court in the fourth quarter?
I don't know. You know what? He was, but he was. Hey, he was, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was there. He wasn't there in spirit.
There you go.
I tell you, and that's the problem with this podcast. People are still alive, and they hear it,
Thank
and
God.
you react the way you should react. Like, F you. I was making $1 million that year. You were making 25, and you didn't lead us to victory.
I played 56 games and averaged 17 minutes. Come on, man. I was shortchanged. I got a story. Can I tell some quick story?
Do it. Yeah.
So he said post a link to that video. Post a link to which video? The one that I just played with Eddie House in it. I can do that. I'll put it in the description after the show. I'll post a link to it. But yeah, so I think that show, I don't know what station it's on, but the dude name is Carlton. I think it's the Carlton Show. Older white guy. He used to have Tim Hardaway Sr. on there, sometimes Eddie House and some other guys. But yeah, that's the name of the show. But yeah, they had some other things to say about it. But I don't know if y'all heard the clip. You might have to go back to his episode 2 or 3 of Mind the Game podcast when he was describing how he didn't have the right pieces and the role players and all that stuff. And that's what Eddie House was responding to. He was like, because he was on that squad, and he was like, what's wrong with the role players? Like how good do your role players have to be? If you have Wade, Bosh, and LeBron James in their prime and they're all healthy, how good does that have to beat Dirk by himself? Or not Dirk by himself, but Dirk is the lone superstar in his prime. Dirk was the only superstar in his prime on that team. Now, if you count Jason Kidd as a superstar, that's fine, but he was past his prime. Jason Kidd was 39, 40 years old, 1 foot out of the league. So I wouldn't count him in his prime. And then the rest of the players, Jason Terry's not a superstar. He wasn't even an all-star. I think he made maybe 1 all-star, if that. Sean Marion made some all-stars, but he wasn't a perennial all-star, and he wasn't a superstar. Tyson Chandler is not a superstar, right? JJ Barea is not a superstar. So you got 1 superstar in his prime, old past his prime former superstar against 3 superstars in their prime healthy. And you're telling me we didn't have enough to get it done because we didn't have the role players we needed. That's ridiculous to me, right? I really can't accept that. But a lot of people didn't call it out. Like I called it right away. Like, man, how in the hell you not go? Like, how does he think that we didn't have enough when you sitting there with a freaking super team? Y'all didn't play well enough. Starting with you didn't play well enough. If you would have played well enough, if you would have got just your average. I mean, you only got 17 a game. D Wade was giving you almost 30. Bosh was giving you 20. If LeBron would have got his average, they probably would have swept the Mavs. So no, it had nothing to do with the role players. What are the role players going to do? Y'all probably weren't even playing, but eight men going 3 deep in your bench, maybe 4. How good do your role players got to be? Chalmers was good. Haselman was good. That's 7. Well, that's 3, 4, 5. That's 5 right there. But then you got Dampier, and then you got Eddie House. Like these dudes wasn't slouches. Mike Miller, was Mike Miller there? I'm not sure. But they wasn't slouches, man. I just don't understand. I can't believe he really said that, man. Play good basketball. Your stars need to show up. And your role players can do their job, man. It's not the role players, it's not their job to carry 3 superstars, right? It's not their job to carry the supposed GOAT or someone in the GOAT conversation. Role players don't carry you, right? You supposed to carry your role players, and they supposed to supplement you, and they supposed to help you out. But they're not supposed to, bail you out once or twice every now and then. They'll hit a big shot, make a good play on defense. You know what I mean? Take over a quarter, possibly. I mean, how many role players really take over quarters? You know what I mean? But I still don't understand. I still don't understand where he was going with that, man. And I'm glad Eddie House called it out. And somebody go hate him for it, and he probably won't be invited to no more clutch sports parties. But at the end of the day, I don't think Eddie House care, and he bleed green anyway, man. He got his first ring with the Celtics. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But that's my thought on it, man. I won't open the phone lines on that. I'm gonna move to this next topic, and then I open the phone lines up on this one. How you feel about when Shaq, it's the others that win championship? That statement means that your role players have to do their job as well, right? So when they say the others, when Shaq says that, what I believe he's saying, because Shaq got to do his thing 100% every single time, because Shaq also says that when you're the star player and you're carrying the team, whatever your averages is in the regular season needs to be more in the playoffs. So if you go throughout the regular season averaging 25 a game, you need to be averaging 30 in the playoffs. That's Shaq's first statement. But he also says it's the others that win. That's just like when I was in the Navy and the leadership, the command master chief, the commanding officer, the executive officers, they come down and they do their speeches, and the CMC, the command master chief, used to always say, my blue shirts, which are the role players, if the captain of the ship is the star, the little guys like myself was the role players. But they used to call us the backbone of the Navy. Yeah, because we do the stuff that get unnoticed, and some of the stuff that nobody wants to do, really. You get what I'm saying? Like we don't want Shaq to get in foul trouble, so it's people taking hard fouls for Shaq. I take that foul. I do that. If you need a foul right now, you don't have your star player do it. If I need to jump in somebody's face and fight, possibly get a tech, possibly get thrown out, we can't let the star player do it. If someone's trying to bully Steph Curry, Draymond jumps in front of him, or Klay Thompson, he jumps in front of him and chokehold him. You know what I mean? Those things that role players do that sometimes go unnoticed, and sometimes the star player can't do. Right? You have to do those things. That's why they say, yeah, you're the backbone of what we do. You're part of the foundation as well. You have to do what you do. Robin had to do what he did to help Jordan. Right. But this thing don't go nowhere without MJ. This thing don't go nowhere without Shaq. It don't go nowhere without Kobe. Right. But the role players, the role players do have to do their part. That's not what LeBron was saying. LeBron was saying we didn't have enough role players. He didn't say that the role players that we had didn't show up and didn't play well and didn't do their job. He said we ain't have enough. We need better role players. And they got better role players. They went out and got Ray Allen on the bench. They went out and got Birdman, Chris Anderson from Denver. They went out and got Mike Miller. They went out and got Rashard Lewis. These are starters. These guys were starting on their ball clubs. He brought them in to be their bench role players. You get what I'm saying? That's what LeBron needed. LeBron has always had the mind state of, I need to upgrade everywhere. Right? But that's not what role players are all about. Upgrading everywhere. Give me a starter to put on my bench. Give me 4 starters to put on my bench. They could have a 500 team. I wouldn't say playoff team, but they on their bench, that team could have went 500. They could have won 41 games. Mike Miller, Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen. That's 3. That's a little 3. That's a little 3 right there. Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis was multiple time All-Stars. Ray Allen was a former superstar. Mike Miller, fringe also, I don't think he ever made it, but he's got that type of talent. That's a little 3. You got Ray Allen, Mike Miller, and Rashard Lewis. They could start on the squad and win 41 games. You could build around it. They had that on the bench. not to mention Haslam. Come on, man. What are we even talking about? Then they drafted Norris Cole. Like, what are we even talking about? So yeah, that's what it is when Shaq say the others win championships. You don't really think that he believe, oh man, the others are leading. Nah, the leaders are leading, but yeah, it's a team effort, and the others got to do their thing too. So yeah, so let's get into this Warriors. They got they got stomped last night in the play-in. And so I've been talking about this since the 2022 finals when they won it. And I used to root for the Warriors, tooth and nail. What really turned me off is all the Draymond Green antics. And when I started to see that the Warriors never addressed what he was doing, they never properly addressed what he was doing and how he did it or none of that. They just enabled it. When I seen that, I was like, man, this franchise and this organization has become very annoying. All because of Draymond and the fact that Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob, Bob Myers didn't seem like they knew what to do with the situation, and they handled it wrong every single time. Every situation they had, they handled it wrong, right? So I was doing videos giving my opinions from the first game of the finals when they played Boston. I was giving my opinion, and especially the game when Draymond Green came out there and was just playing hockey out there on the court, just wrestling, knocking Grant Williams on the ground, like just I'm like, why are they letting this go, man? Like, why is the NBA doing this? I mean, they were just allowing him to do just silly stuff, right? And I was like, man, like it's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch, man. So I became a little bit annoyed with it and kind of critical of it, and I started to follow the situation very close. And that's when I came out with the opinion, even after they won that championship, because you remember when they won that championship, Boston had their number. They won game one. They stole home court advantage. They won game one. And I think they went up 2-1, right, at one point. And then Draymond Green started doing crazy stuff, and then Steph Curry went nuts, and the rest is history, right? But even after they and them winning it, Draymond Green toward the end, probably the last two games, he was playing so horribly that the Warriors actually had to bench him in order for them to have a chance to win. And Draymond Green was going to his podcast after the game saying just stupid stuff, man. I mean, he disrespected Cornbread Maxwell, who was a Celtic great, played on championship teams with Bird, I think. He disrespected him on his podcast. He just, like, Draymond Green was just being an absolute nut, right? And I was like, man, dude, why are we accepting this behavior? Why ain't nobody checking him, right? And I was like, all right, man, I think the Warriors would be smart to go ahead and look at what they got. They got Jordan Poole. They had already traded Wiseman early that season. That was a mistake. They drafted him. He played well for him while the Warriors was in the down years. And then when Draymond and Clay and Steph came back healthy, they felt like, man, we don't like playing with a big man anyway, because we like to do that small ball lineup, which they used to call the death lineup when Iguodala, Kevin Durant, and Draymond Green used to play their 4-5 or their 3-4-5. Like, Iguodala will play 3, Draymond to be the 4, Kevin Durant to be the rim protecting 5, or vice versa, Draymond Green to be the 5, and that was interchangeable. So with that lineup, they called it the death lineup, and it was a really good lineup that they used very sparingly. They didn't use it that often. They didn't start the game with it. Sometimes they end the game with it. They play small ball. But for some reason, Steve Kerr fell in love with small ball, where he would want to play with it most of the game with Draymond Green at the center. So Wiseman became kind of expendable when everybody came back healthy. And, they're playing Wiggins at the 4, Draymond Green at the 5, most of the game. They'll start the game with Looney, but toward the middle of the game, Looney will go to the bench and they'll have Wiggins, Draymond, whoever else out there. It was Otto Porter Jr. when they won that championship. You know, that's the lineup. They like that small ball stuff. And it worked for that championship. So they fell in love with it. Was like, that's what we want to do. We want to play small ball. So we don't need Wiseman. Wiseman wanted more of a role in that offense. He didn't want to do what Kevon Looney does and just sit there and rebound and kick it out to the shooters like Draymond and Looney does. Because he's got capability to score and post up and slash and do all that. So he wanna grow in his offense. And the Warriors didn't really want him to do that. They wanted them to do rebound, run the floor. That's it. So that's why they traded him. Right. So that's another guy that they got rid of because they want to acquiesce to Draymond Green. But what they should have been doing is looking at, look, we just won a championship and we had to bench Draymond Green to do it. And Jordan Poole actually got us through this playoff along with Wiggins and Steph. Klay Thompson wasn't himself all season and not most of the playoffs either. So what they should have did is said, we got Poole, who is the replacement for Klay. We got Wiseman, who can be a replacement for Draymond and Kevon Looney. Now, when I say replacement for Draymond, that doesn't mean he's going to play point forward like Draymond. That means that Steve Kerr is going to have to coach a slightly different offense around Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, and Wiseman. That's three guys that are young guys that can be built around Steph, and you can keep your franchise rolling. That's the option. And what you would have had to do after that season is get rid of Draymond. That was his contract year. And then Klay had 2 years on his contract. Both of those guys would have been trade bait for me that summer. Instead of me trading Wiseman during the season, I would have kept him. Got through that season. I would have traded, whether we won or lost, I would have traded Klay and Draymond because I knew a year down the line, both of those guys wanted max contract extensions. And I can't afford it. And I need to move forward with this new squad that Bob Myers drafted. And that's why I think Bob Myers resigned, because everything he was trying to do to keep this franchise moving forward, he couldn't get support from Steve Kerr, Curry, Klay, Draymond. And they were going around him talking to Joe Lacob. How do I know that? Because Draymond Green told us on this podcast that when it was time for him to renegotiate for his contract, he drove to the owner's house, not Bob Myers, the GM. He went to the owner and had a 2-hour talk with him about money, about getting his contract. If I'm the GM, I'm looking like, man, what am I here for? I went and did all this scouting and drafted Wiseman and drafted Poole and drafted Moody and went and signed Gary Payton Jr. I went and traded for Wiggins. I drafted Kuminga. Like, think about this. Kuminga in the draft, Wiseman in the draft, Poole in the draft, Moody in the draft. That's 4 guys. And then he traded for Wiggins. That's 5. And then he signed Gary Payton Jr. He's got 6 guys that's ready to move forward with this franchise, because whenever we break up this core 3, I don't want to be one of those franchises where we're looking 10, 15 years before we get another competitive team. We've built this team up to be worth $2 billion, $3 billion. Let's not let it all go on crashing down because we're in love with Draymond and Klay. Right? So you have to look toward the future, which Bob was trying to do, and no one was letting Bob take control over it and handle it and do it the way he wanted to. So he didn't resign. I'm gone. I go somewhere else and work. Right? And now he calling games and giving halftime reports with Stephen A. Smith. Right? Bump all that. Y'all not gonna let me do my job. I'm out. I did all this. Y'all traded Wiseman. Y'all won't play Kuminga. You know, all this stuff is crazy, right? You punch Poole out, then you trade him. Like this is ridiculous. So anyway, make a long story short, I done several videos saying that Draymond and Klay needs to be traded. And then They go into the offseason, and then training camp started, and then Draymond punches Poole out. And then I made more videos. Oh, Draymond Green got to go now. Like, what did he just did to Poole? You can't fix that locker room. It's done. And then they came back and was like, nah, the locker room's fixed. We fixed it. Everything's good. And then they started playing horrible basketball. And then after the season was over, everybody came out and was like, yeah, the locker room was never fixed. It was jacked up because of the punch. Like, I knew that. I knew it was jacked up. So now you're going to listen? Draymond needs to go. Clay needs to go. And what did Steve Kerr come out and do right after they got put out of the playoffs by the Lakers? Steve Kerr went straight to the podium and started lobbying for Draymond to get his max contract. We're not a championship team without Draymond. We need Draymond back, blah, blah, blah. So Steve Kerr went to the podium to speak and help Draymond get his money. And the reason why they go into the podium to do that is because that's their way to speaking to the fan base of the Warriors, and also, a way to get the message to Joe Lacob. I don't think they need to speak in a press conference to Joe Lacob. They can go to him directly. But when you say it out loud like that, I'm showing Draymond, I'm supporting you publicly. I'm showing the fan base that me as the coach, I'm supporting Draymond publicly. And then what that does is most of the fan base will, most of them will be like, all right, Kerr saying I agree. We're not a championship team without Draymond. So you got a whole bunch of momentum built when you go to Joe Lacob and say, we got to give Draymond his money. Right. So as an owner, you need to explain to me how we got put out in the second round by the Lakers, and you want me to give Draymond Green all his money, and he's aging, and I'm looking at his replacements. I'd rather pay his replacements and trade him because I want to get under the luxury tax. If y'all don't know that, the Golden State Warriors so the way it works in the NBA, whatever the salary cap is for the NBA, let's say it's 200 mil, right? Or 185 mil. It's somewhere around that range, right? If you pay your players more than the salary cap, the NBA taxes you. It's called the luxury tax. And depending on how much you pay over that salary cap, how much luxury tax you go pay. Well, the Warriors have a $205 million salary this year, which is over the salary cap. And guess how much luxury tax they had to pay this year? 177 million additional dollars. So not only am I paying a salary of 205 million, I got an extra 177 million to pay in taxes. This ain't Uncle Sam taxing me. This is the NBA saying we got rules. We're trying to make it fair for every team. So the salary cap is set at 185. If you go over that, you're going to pay a penalty and you're going to pay a luxury tax. Some teams are willing to do it because, hey, look, if I'm going to pay a luxury tax so I can get all the players here I needed to win a championship, then I do it. But when you're paying 177 million extra dollars to not make the playoffs, as an owner, I'm like, y'all lied to me because y'all told me as soon as y'all trade Poole that the locker room was going to be fixed and we was going to be playing championship basketball again. They got rid of Poole because they was trying to keep Draymond, Steph, and Clay together. They gave Draymond all that money, and I'm pretty sure they promised Joe Lacob that everything's fixed in the locker room as soon as we got rid of Jordan Poole. We're ready to go back to work. The only reason why we was playing bad last year is because the locker room was jacked up with Poole and Draymond and what happened, but now we got rid of the problem. We're good to go. Give Draymond the money. We back to making the playoffs again. And now Joe Lacob looking like y'all lied. And what did they do after they got put out in a play-in by the Kings? The same exact thing they did for Draymond, they're now doing for Clay. Steve Kerr went to the podium. Steph went to the podium. Draymond went to the podium. Here's what they said.
He's still got good years left, and I know I speak for everybody in the organization. We want him back. Obviously, there's business at hand, and that has to be addressed with Clay's representatives, and Mike and Joe. But what Clay has meant to this franchise, as good as he still is, we desperately want him back.
Who you lying to? You can't get me with the same trick you got me with last year. You told me the same thing. We're not a championship team without Draymond. Well, with Draymond, y'all not even a playoff team. So what are we doing? Why am I paying $177 million in taxes so we not make the playoffs? And you're telling me the same lie again? This the same thing you did last year. You went and told me we need Draymond and made me trade Poole, and we move forward, and it's not fixed. What are we going to do different? So now y'all trying to tell the same lie about Klay Thompson. So yeah, he still got a lot of meat on the bone. He's still great and all this great stuff, and pay him his money. So now Klay about to get a $100 million contract. So in order for you to keep Klay, guess what you probably got? You probably got to trade Wiggins. He's gonna be the scapegoat. They go try to trade. He's the next person to get traded. We traded Poole last year. It's gonna be Groundhog Day. They're gonna do the same exact thing. They traded. They lost. They go to the podium. They lie to the public so Draymond can get his money, and now they're doing it for Klay. So what's gonna happen next? They're gonna try to make some room. Well, they got to get rid of CP3. So he's going to get some type of, I don't know, cut or trade. Something's going to happen. CP3's out of there. Wiggins is going to be out of there. Also, Klay can get his money. So now you think you're going to have addition by subtraction. Yeah, we get rid of Poole. We get rid of Wiggins. We get rid of CP3. Who you going to bring in now for those guys? What type of trade scenario is going to bring you something that's going to help you win for CP3? Who's dumb enough to take CP3's salary and CP3's age and injury history and history with Scott Foster? Who's dumb enough? So that's going to be tough. And then Wiggins, you done devalue him so bad because you making him play power forward. You making Wiggins play power forward. He just got figured out. He can't even play his position. You know what I mean? You had an idea of how you did things with small ball with Iguodala, and now you're trying to make Wiggins come in and be the new Iguodala. And he can't even play with his mind right because he was a good friend to Jordan Poole, and he seen how you treated him. So the core three, Draymond, Klay, and Steph, they want to be together so bad that, look, just keep us together and just get rid of everybody else. They feel like they're their own team. All right, here's Steph.
Steph, just Draymond and the coach just mentioned they want Klay come back next season. How confident are you that he will be back next season?
Can never see myself, not with those two guys. I understand this league changes and there's so many things that go into it, and we're not going to play forever, but we've experienced so much together, and at the end of the day, like, again, I know they want to win. I know I want to win, and that's all I worry. That's all I'm worried about.
This man said, "I can't see myself." What did this dude say again?
Steph, just Draymond and the coach just mentioned they want Klay come back next season. How confident are you that he will be back next season?
Can never see myself, not with those two guys.
I can never see myself not with those two guys. I can never see myself. This is another signal to Joe Lacob that, hey man, keep Klay here, pay him his money. You'd already paid Draymond his money. We finessing you for this money. We finessing you. What Joe Lacob is gonna have to do is get smart. Y'all remember the color purple? When they had to separate Silly and Nettie? And they didn't want to go away, and they was hugging, and he had, Mister had to wrestle them apart from each other, had to pull them apart. You know what I mean? Almost like a wishbone. That's how he had to pull them. But that's what you're gonna have to do to Steph, Klay, and Draymond. I'm sorry, I'm not paying another $200 million in taxes so we can miss the playoffs, all because y'all want to stay together. No, you don't get 4 last dances. Like the GOAT got a last dance. He wanted to stay with Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, and they told him no. I'm not bringing back Pippen, I'm not bringing back Phil. He told Jordan that. So they was like, this is the last dance. And they went and won a championship. The last dance for the Warriors was 2022 when they went and won a championship. But they used that championship to say, hey, look, man, let's keep it rolling. Give us another max contract. You don't supposed to get a max contract when you're a role player at age 34, 35. Steph can get one, especially with him still playing like a superstar. But Draymond not supposed to get another one at this age, especially not after the season they had last year, especially not the problems he's causing in the locker room and on the basketball court. He's not supposed to get under the max contract. They're tricking Joe Lacob. They're selling him dreams. They're telling him we can still compete. We can figure it out, man. Just keep us together. We'll figure it out, man. We're a championship core. Joe Lacob got to get smart and separate them. Silly, you have to go. Nettie, you have to go. I'm separating y'all. We keeping Steph, but y'all got to go. Trade Draymond. Do not sign Clay. Let him walk. Don't even sign him. Let him walk and trade Draymond for whatever you can get for him. Get under the salary cap. Stop paying that luxury tax. Do something different. It's over, man. It don't even make no sense.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Do you have confidence that it's a fun group to come work with every day? Do you have confidence that this group will still be the core group here next season?
Yeah, I have no reason not to. They've stuck with us through the good and the bad. Not so great this year, but can't win every year. So, yeah, I do have confidence until it's no longer.
How vocal will you be about the need to bring Clay back? I mean, that's kind of the biggest question lingering.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want Clay back. We've been through a lot. Incredible highs, some shitty lows. But the common denominator to both of them is that we've gone through each and every scenario together, so, it's obvious that we want to continue what we've been doing, but I understand he got a decision to make. He's going to make the best decision for him. Team got a decision to make. They'll make the best decision for the team. But, I have no doubt that even if, which I don't think there's any scenario where Clay leaves and that's the best decision for this team and organization. But what I don't doubt is if Joe or Mike or anybody felt that it was best that this team moves forward without Clay, that wouldn't be the decision they make because they believe that, they've shown nothing but respect, loyalty, love, trust to us. So I got no reason to go into it like, oh, man, they're not going to do right by Clay. They did right by me. They've done right by Steph. They've done right by all of us. Clay tore his ACL. They paid him $160 million. So I have no reason to think that our ownership group aren't going to take care of us the way we've taken care of this organization.
Man, taking care of the organization, that junk is over. Y'all not taking care of them for the last 2-3 years, man. Do right by me. They did right by me. They go do right by Clay. Y'all fleecing the flock and finessing Joe Lacob, man. And I understand he's a billionaire several times over. And I feel like, I want the players to get their worth, man. But I don't like to see owners getting fleeced like this. I don't like to see nobody get fleeced. They've got their fair share of money. They have nothing left to offer the Golden State Warriors for real. They have nothing else left. I guess from a business standpoint, if Joe Lacob feel like as long as we keep them together, the fans will think we got a shot and we can sell tickets. And as soon as we get rid of them, even if we keep Steph, our ticket sales will go down. That might be a thought. So maybe that's what he's thinking. Like, yeah, I mean, we selling tickets. You took my franchise from worth $200 million to worth $3 billion. That's huge. I got to give you some of that money back. I get that. So yeah, you might be, if they looking at it that way and they're paying them for what they've done in the past. Okay, cool. If that's what you think, but you can't be fooling yourself and telling everybody that this is a championship team and y'all think y'all can get it done. Y'all just need to tweak some things. Y'all have royally effed this whole situation up. You talking about some he go do right by Clay because he did right by me. Y'all ain't doing right by them. Not lately. What have you done for me lately? Right? So, like I said, if they want to fix this, let Clay walk, trade Draymond. You know what? I wouldn't even. It'd be funny to see them trade Draymond for Jordan Poole. Bring Poole back. That'd be hilarious. Go back in reverse. You know what I mean? See if you can redo everything. Bring Bob Myers back. Everything. Bring back Wiseman. Just start over. You know what I mean? But now on the real though, as far as that salary is, I can see them moving forward if they can get rid of Draymond's contract and trade him and let Klay Thompson walk. And they got to sign Kuminga at some point. That's the future, right? But right now, what can you do with Kuminga and Wiggins and Steph together? Who knows? You might can get something done. I would go that route, right? Phone lines are open, man. As y'all turn the way in on this Golden State Warriors situation, man, I would go that route. But they finesse, man, for sure. Hit the like button right now. If you haven't already hit it and you just not joining, hit the like button. But yeah, I just don't understand how they think they can talk their way into keeping this thing rolling and everybody getting paid and getting their money, man. It was a mistake to pay Draymond Green last year. Real talk, what quality star would want to join this inbred hillbilly horror show? Why can't I quit you? Like that's what Steph sounded like. I can't see myself not with those two guys. And oh man, we won't Clay back, and we're not a championship team without Draymond. You just finessing like Steph Curry is the one that's actually doing the work on the court to earn his money. But as far as Clay, Draymond, and Steve Kerr, it's all talk. It's unfair to Steph because he has to go out there and actually do the heavy lifting on the court. And then it's all talk for Draymond. We just go talk our way and say Draymond is this important and we can't do it without him. And we go talk our way into Clay. They just gave Steve Kerr extension. He just got paid. I'm like, man, these people are smooth criminals. They in it together. All four of them. They in it together, man. And it's just the weirdest thing to watch, man. It's almost like Brokeback Mountain. I just don't get it, man. It's the weirdest thing. And if you look at that Kings game, first and foremost, they were supposed to get beat in the first round. That was in the play-in last year, so they didn't even really make the playoffs last year either. They got in, through the play-in, and they playing the Kings, who was a better team than them all season, right? But what did they do in that first round series? They officiated the game in a favorable way for Steph and Golden State, right? The Kings was just head and shoulders above them and better than them. All right. But to make it a good series, the refs, the refs got hot. The refs got momentum in the game, I guess, in the series. And it went in Golden State's way. And then when it got to that game 7, Steph just went crazy and went for 50. Right. So I honestly don't believe they should have got out that first round. The Kings were better than them then. But their true color showed when they played the Lakers that, what the trash that they really was. Like, you trashed the whole season. I think you had the worst road record in the league. You trashed the whole season, and then all of a sudden against the Kings, who's a better team, you quote unquote outplay them, and then the next series you trash again. So you trash coming in and trash going out, but somewhere in the middle, you was a great team and you beat the Kings. And you want us to believe that you went from being trash, going through the play-in, to beating a team that was with a higher seed than you, that was playing phenomenal basketball, and then right after that you went right the carriage turned into a pumpkin again, and you went right back to trash against the Lakers. And you want us to believe that game, that series didn't have a lot of influence from the whistle. Caller from Ohio, what's up?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good. What's your thoughts?
Well, I love talk basketball. Warriors fan, just basketball fan, period. This is my thought about as far as their lineup. You know, because I listen to a lot of different opinions, and I like, should they trade or whatever? What should they do with Clay? Well, Clay basically, because Dre's already signed. But I heard somebody say if they trade Clay, they'll be looking for Clay. So who are they going to find to shoot 42% from three and average 18 points? So that's the scenario that if you're saying to trade him, we got to find somebody like that. So who would they find to do that?
So I disagree that they had to find another shooter like Clay. Well, the first thing I say, they had him in the building. Draymond beat him up and ran him out of the building. So if the fact that you don't have a replacement for Clay, that's your own fault because you enabled Draymond, right? You chose Draymond over your future, right? So the fact that you don't have a Clay replacement is your fault, but you don't need to do the exact same thing that Clay do in order for this franchise to move forward. What Steve Kerr is really saying and what Golden State fans are really saying is we want to play the exact same style that we've always been playing. And my coach and my best player are not good enough to adapt their game into something different, which showed last night, because this is the criticism that no one's really going to give Steph that I'm going to give him tonight. Steph Curry had 6 turnovers last night. You know what Steph Curry was facing last night? A fair whistle that wasn't slated toward him and his Golden State Warriors, and 90-style defense. That was running, driving to the hole. Their whole game is predicated on Clay and Steph coming off illegal moving screens. And when they're not coming off screens, Steph is trying to drive and kick. Well, the drive and kick game got neutralized because when the defense was really tough against the drive and kick, the whistles wasn't blowing to give them fouls. So all of that Steph Curry throwing his body into people trying to get fouls and Clay doing the same thing, they didn't call none of those.
Yeah, but
go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh no, I was gonna say yeah, but but his steals, his steals wasn't actually him trying to shake and bake. His steals were just, to me, they were just which Steph has a history of just being careless. It wasn't, because I watched the game, the first one, he's dribbling up court like the guy wasn't even there. And it wasn't like he tried to do a little move and the guy picked him or whatever. And I think this is how I evaluate what I see. I'm not going to say that they didn't try to win, but I don't know if you've seen Steph and all the guys, they got their USA jerseys, I guess, yesterday or when they get all the
probably today.
They got their jerseys.
I think it was today.
It was today, okay. So I think he's thinking about that. And now as far as the way they play, because I like to say, I watch a lot of games. The way they play defense, I don't think it was so much of the offense. Is the way they play defense showed you how they were going to play offense. Because if you watch those last games when they went on that road, they were scrambling, they was covering from each other. The dude was shooting wide open three. People, those guys, man, those guys, they didn't like take a tune. They were shooting wide open threes. Now, if you can't cover the 3-point line no better than what they did, you don't deserve to win. I'm not taking nothing away from the Kings, because they went out there and they wanted it, and they went after it. They wanted it more than Golden State did. But if you're gonna let everybody just shoot a wide open three, Harrison Barnes, guys you never heard of, shooting wide open threes. And so I ain't taking nothing away from the Keys. Now, as far as the lineup, like I said, as far as keeping Clay, I think they should keep Clay and Draymond.
And pay Clay. Hold on, keep Clay and pay him what?
I think we'll see what they offer him 100 for 4.
Probably did. I think
they offer 100 for.
So you would give him that. Wait. So slow down. So you say keep Draymond on his contract, give Clay a similar contract, and roll back out next season with Steph, Clay, and Draymond in your starting lineup again, and Kevon Looney, and probably, I don't know, we'll find a fourth guy because you'll probably go try to get rid of Wiggins or maybe Kuminga. You'll probably get rid of Wiggins and have Kuminga in the starting lineup, right? You saying you saying you're gonna do that, and then what is your team going to be next year? A play-in team again?
No, I say that for Clay, I think you maybe do a 3-year contract, whatever that looks like.
But why though? But why?
Well, I mean, if you look at what Steph's contract is and what Draymond's is, and if they want to continue this thing together, that would be the length of it. I think you trade. I think if you can get the value for him, I think you trade Kuminga because I think Kuminga's a good player. But the only issue with Kuminga is, and I'm a Golden State fan, and I wouldn't want him to trade him, but he's a good tradable piece. I think his game is what Magic Johnson used to describe as, for Dwayne Wade and LeBron, is wind-up games. And I don't know if you remember that when they lost to, I think obviously it was Dallas, because when he was talking about, and he was saying it was afterwards, and you can pull it up. I think he was talking to Kenny and Ernie and them, and he said they were wind-up players. And I think that's what Kuminga is right now, which is not a bad thing. But what happens is once you get in certain situations with certain teams, and if you notice, once Kuminga actually starts starting for a long period of time, he started getting stripped and all. And he was always looking at the refs, and like a lot of times you hear the announcer say, "Well, he just lost the blah 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 blah."
Like Steph was doing, like Steph was doing last night. Like Steph was doing.
Yeah, but Steph's got skill though.
So here's my issue with your idea, because right now you're making decisions based on your heart. You know, but you know Steph, Clay, and Draymond can't go out there and win you ball games as a contender anymore. You know that.
They need a stud. They need a stud.
Yeah, but how you? But hold on. But how you go get a stud? The issue right now is that your owner paid 177. He's never going to get that 177 million back. He's not going to get that back. And your team is not even in the playoffs. He can't even go through 2 rounds of playoffs and sell major tickets and get some money from those tickets this season. His season is done.
If Draymond hadn't got suspended for 25 games, you think they've been a play-in team?
Yes. They still would have been a play-in team.
No.
Yes.
25 games.
Yes.
They were only out. They were only out the 6th spot. 2 games.
They were still horrible. They're still playing bad basketball. It was the same thing as last year.
Games, the record that they had with Draymond out, if they would have won half of those games, they would have been in the top 3 or 4. Even if they won a third of them, they would have secured that bag.
So why was that? So why was they a bad team last year?
What do you mean? Why is that?
The same team that we seen this year, they was like that last year.
Yeah, they lost. Well, you talking about when they had poop? Well,
yeah. Why? No. Because you said the reason why they was a play-in team this year is because Draymond got suspended. Why was they a bad team last year?
Oh, because of the scuffle that they had.
Okay, so 2 years in a row, we got the perfect excuse, and Draymond is the reason both times. What's it going to be next season when they bad again?
Well, I mean, Draymond could be another issue. Like I said, right now, I would say right now, my priority would be keeping Clay. Now, if we talking about the Draymond issue, that's a whole nother conversation what they should do, because I agree. The last year the issue was that situation, and this year issue that was a situation. But I don't think they want to not pay him. No, man, I ain't smoking. I just got my own opinion. I don't think they. You should try it sometime. I don't think it's not that they don't want to cut him because they still got to pay him the money. I mean, they got to find out a way to utilize him because, I mean, if whatever you do, you're still going to be owing him. You're still going to be owing that money out.
All right, so
I'm saying
not if you trade Draymond. If you trade if you trade Draymond and you let Clay walk, you're doing good for yourself, right?
Yeah, but you got to figure out who you're going to replace him with, though, too.
You don't have to. The replacement is already there. Kuminga has been there.
No, I'm a Warrior fan, but Kuminga to me would be best served coming off the bench, and he could be a spark because you got to look at this. And like I said, because I've been a Warriors fan. I've been a Steph Curry fan since college. I'm a LeBron. I'm a LeBron. I like all basketball.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you real quick before you get started. And the reason why you probably should let me talk more than you talking about this Warriors things, even though you've been a Warriors fan so long, is for number one because I'm being objective and I'm not using my feelings and my heart. Because I've been a fan.
I don't have a feeling.
Well, but you've been a fan. That's a fan is a fanatic. You can't be a fanatic without feelings.
No, because you know what?
Well, hold on. Let me finish this.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't have no feelings. Go ahead.
Well, you don't. I don't want you to tell me that because I know what a fanatic is. But listen, this is my point. The reason why you probably should listen to me on this conversation is I've been telling you what was going to happen for the last 2 years. I've been saying it before it happened. I've been telling you this, not you personally, but I've been making videos on the reason why it's going to fail and exactly what the problem is and exactly what they should do as a solution. I've been pointing this out for 2 straight years. So when you predict something and it comes to fruition and it comes true, then you got foresight, right? Now, foresight goes a long way. Why wouldn't you listen to someone who's got foresight, who's been right about it 100% of the time?
But you're saying your foresight is Draymond is the problem, but you didn't say. Are you saying Clay? Are you foresighting Clay's issue? Because if you're saying what you're saying about Draymond, that's a conversation. I'm talking right now. I'm talking about Clay and how to go forward.
Let him walk. Let him walk.
The money thing.
Let him walk.
And a tradable thing.
Let Clay walk. You cannot afford to pay him and not make the playoffs. You cannot pay $177 million in the luxury tax again next year for a non-playoff team. And if you keep Clay and Draymond and pay them that money, you're not going to have money to pay anybody else. So how the heck are you not going to be a non-playoff team next year if your highest paid players is Steph, Clay, and Dre?
Well, I mean, what they would do would be try to do a sign and trade. Just
sign
like
and trade
with KD.
For what? For what?
So I'm saying they wouldn't just let him walk. Just like they did with KD. How they got D'Angelo Russell, and so where they don't just lose a player's value, they do a sign and trade. Wherever he goes, they would try to do a sign and trade with that team. Just like they did with Brooklyn. With KD,
name me the team that'll trade for Clay right now.
Well, whoever's going to sign him.
Name me the team that wants Clay right now, other than Golden State.
I mean, I bet there's a lot of teams who's going to play Clay more than Golden State would play. But Clay said he wants to win too, though.
You want to put money on it?
That would pay more than Golden State?
Yeah, name me the team.
I would say, well, you look at Orlando with paying. I think the Lakers were paying.
Okay.
Phoenix with paying. Like I tell you, I was listening to.
Okay, let's explore it. Hold on, let's explore it. Hold on, let's explore it. So, the Lakers would take Clay, and you saying don't let him walk, do a sign and trade. Okay, give me the trade that you think the Lakers will offer for Clay.
There had to be a 3-team. They couldn't just do it straight up because I don't think the Warriors is not nothing that they got that the Warriors want. Now, unless it was AD, of course, that ain't a trade.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
what I'm saying is that it had to be. I mean, you'd have to get another team involved. But what I'm saying, and it's analogy. Any team that does what, like they say, like a player like Grayson Allen, I was listening to, who with the Suns, they would put Clay in that position instead of have him. They was naming other guys who does what
Phoenix?
Clay does, and that they would put in that position.
There's no way Phoenix would give up Grayson Allen for Steph for Clay right now.
Oh yeah, they would.
No, 100% no.
You don't
No,
think
that's
so?
hell no. No, why? Why would I go get the older dude that's been hurt 1,000 times for all the money in the world? Why? Why would I do that? I already got. Grayson Allen is the best 3-point shooter in the league right now, percentage wise. Right? The dude is knocked down and he plays defense and he can defend and guard, put the ball on the floor. Clay can barely put the ball on the floor. He can barely defend still now, and he can barely shoot. And that's what ain't nobody about to get rid of no Grayson Allen for no Clay, man. Y'all selling dreams. Y'all think people is dumb as Joe Lacob, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, what I'm saying is this: what I do it, yeah. Somebody, what I'm saying, someone who fits that bill, who does what he does. Now you saying what he shoots, what Grayson Allen shoots, but Clay could do that even better. Clay is, you saying Grayson Allen's a better shooter than Clay? And I don't want to pick on Grayson Allen, but I'm saying you saying there's a better shooter who's just going to stand and shoot than Clay.
I want Grayson. I want Grayson Allen on my team before I want Clay right now.
Give me a guy who spreads the floor who you rather have than Clay.
Dude, I don't want Clay on my squad, period. I would take Jordan Poole over Clay right now. I don't want Clay on my squad, bro. No, I wouldn't take Clay or Draymond on my team.
Okay, we ain't talking about Draymond.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only person that has value out of the core four of Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond, and Clay is Steph. Kerr's trash. Draymond's trash. Clay is trash. The only value they have is the fact that Steph likes them, and Steph don't want to play with nobody else but them. That's the only value they have. Real Warriors fans know that. Real Warriors fans are tired of Draymond. We appreciate Clay for what he's done and for being a true professional, but it's over. It's over.
Well, but like I said, we're not discussing Draymond right now. You keep throwing Draymond, and that's a whole new bag. That's a whole bag of apples. What I'm saying is, Clay, what we do with Draymond is the whole nother conversation. But I think, because last 2 years, I agree. It was the Poole thing, and it was the suspension. We made it clear that
it's always something, huh?
That cost them. But I would. What I'm saying is that I don't think I would choose anybody in the league right now to play Clay's position. Not saying that over anybody, but to play the position and to do what he does.
No, listen, you don't have to replace Clay. You don't have to do what Clay does.
I mean,
that's the point that I get so frustrated with Steve Kerr. Like, he has a system that he wants to coach that he can't coach any other way. It has to, like, you have to adapt as a coach. You get what I'm saying? Like he's locked.
No, I agree.
He's locked into one way of coaching his offense that when he lost Clay, they couldn't even compete anymore. Ain't that weird? Like the Bulls, they run the triangle offense, yes, but it's not predicated. Like, triangle offense works with whoever you put on the floor. It ain't an offense that, oh man, when Scottie Pippen went and got foot surgery and he didn't play the first 50 games of the season, we can't run the triangle no more, and we're not a playoff team. That's what Kerr is telling everybody. If we lose Clay, we don't have spacing to run our offense, and our offense is dead. It's over. It's over. If we lose Draymond, we don't have a point forward that's going to unselfishly make passes to Steph and Clay, and then turn around and play defense. So that means the contending and championship years are over. So he's saying, I can't lose neither one of these role players or it's over. I can't coach any other style. That is trash. But I'm gonna get y'all the phone so I can open the phone lines up, man.
Well, let me. I agree with you. Let me make this last comment about the coaching style.
All right.
Let me make it, because I agree with you that and I a lot of stuff you say I agree with you, man. I mean, it's just certain things we just don't see the same way. But the coaching style, I agree, because I think watching the game and watching, like I say, I watch them all the time. I think the system has to be tweaked to a way where, because there's too many turnovers, and that's part of the style, the way they want to play, why it's too many turnovers. So no, they have to choose another style. All I'm saying is that I don't want to give up that caliber of shooter now. Like I said, the great Draymond, the conversation the other day. But I agree with that. The style has to be tweaked because it's being predictable. Because I can see sometimes when they're going to throw the ball away. Because I'm like, okay, and guys are sometimes wide open, but because like you said, this is the way we want to play, and then it's becoming a turnover. Instead, okay, wait a minute. Let me take it to the basket. Let me do this float or whatever. So, yeah, the coaching style has to change, too. I agree. But thanks for the call, man.
All right. Thank you for the call. Thank you.
All right, bud.
All right. Shout out to Posh King and the Cash App, man. Appreciate the Cash App, man. He said, keep going, bro. Yeah, I am, man. I'm going to keep going. But, yeah, man, phone line's still open, man. I'll take a couple more phone calls on this topic with the Warriors before I get to the MVP. But nah, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna be locked in to I don't even feel right as a coach saying that, it's over if I lose this player or this player. Like, come on, man. How do you even fix your mouth to even say that? Like, you can't coach in. Imagine the college players like Calipari who get one and done players, and he gets to coach them for 1 year and they gone. And the next year he got to recycle and refigure things out. He's not getting the same exact players every single season. 1 year he had Anthony Davis, great shot blocker, long at the rim, offensive capability, right? Then the next year he had DeMarcus Cousins, and then the next, DeMarcus might have been before Anthony Davis, but you get the point. You got DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall 1 year. And the next year you got AD and Kid Gilchrist, and the next year they got Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker. Like you're getting so many different guys in, and most of them are one and done, and you're redoing it every year. He coached Derrick Rose and what's my man named Douglas Roberts. Like he coached Marcus Camby. Like Calipari has done it so many different ways. Roy Williams done it so many different ways. Had Raymond Felton and Sean May, then went from that to, having all different types of point guards. Ty Lawson, right? You gotta be more versatile. You can't be like I don't understand why people keep giving so much high praise to Steve Kerr, and this dude is publicly admitting, I cannot coach if I don't have these three guys. Phil Jackson left the GOATs, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and was like, I'm going to the Lakers, and I'm going to show you I can win. I can three-peat with Shaq and Kobe. And then he retired and came back and was like, I can do it with with Kobe and Paul Gasol. You mean to tell me the triangle worked with a center that wasn't that good, like Luke Longley, Bill Cartwright, Scott Williams, whoever the centers they was, not dominant centers. So he could run the offense, the triangle offense with Michael Jordan and a below average center. Then he can turn around and run the triangle with a dominant center like Shaq. Right? He can do it with a power forward like Horace Grant or a power forward like Rodman. It's different play styles and different players. And he's still able to run his offense to perfection. But Steve Kerr is saying, the offense we run, we've got to have Steph as a shooter. We got to have Clay as a shooter, and it has to be that. And then it has to be Draymond. And then we just find 2 people to throw out there for them. That's the only offense I can run. That is insane. Stacey King, yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Bill Winnington, yeah, that's another one. Thank you. You know what I mean? It's just, man, bro, I can't get with it, man. But if I ain't gonna get another phone call on this, I go to the last topic before I get out of here. Yeah, it's insane to me. It's completely insane to me, man. Yeah. I can't respect it. I can't respect it. And for Steph Curry, to say, he needs Draymond. We're not a championship team without Draymond and all this crazy stuff, man. Dude, grow up, man. Grow some nuts. Y'all grown. It's a professional league. People get traded all the freaking time. Michael Jordan didn't play his whole career with Pippen. Pippen went on to Houston and then went on to Portland. Like, grow up. You can't, I mean, golly, man. It's so ridiculous to hit them just give each other reach arounds like that after they just got whooped by the Kings, and the first thing coming to their mind is give Clay his money. Same thing they did last year. Got whooped by the Lakers. First thing they tell me, give Draymond his money. Dude, you can't go asking for money after you getting whooped 2 years in a row like that. Ain't no way, man. All right, just cut the umbilical cord, man. The organization did right by me. I know they're gonna do right by Clay. All right, that's interesting. All right, the last thing I want to get into is this MVP battle, man. I've always, and this segment is brought to you by Manscaped, man. You can get 20% off if you use the promo code MANDOWN. If you go to manscaped.com, man, go get you that Lawnmower 5.0. I use it. It's dope, man. You can use it in the shower. You can run your water over and still use it, and it's gonna work just fine, man. It don't nick you and don't cut you and all that stuff, man. Great tool to have, man. That 5.0 is really dope. So I get in there. I just make sure I'm Manscaped, because you never know who want to, you never know who want to go down there, right? So you want to be straight and fresh down there, man. So keep that bush up out of there, and that's how I get down with it, man. But MVP segment is brought to you by Manscaped, man. Like I said, 20% off on all your purchases with the promo code MANDOWN. So the media has in the I want to say the last maybe 20 years, I think it's really the LeBron era. Well, stats is just, it's just, I just don't understand how we view basketball through stats. Stats means everything. And the only reason why we play the game is for wins and rings. We play to win, right? So my beef with the NBA media and the NBA is they've put so much of an emphasis on stats. What stats meaning everything. That's why Westbrook was able to get an MVP, because he averaged a triple-double, which is stats. You just padded your stats, points, rebounds, and assists, and that's supposed to be a phenomenal thing. But his team was in like a 5th or 6th seed when they done it. And I get it, man. Make an exception to the, you can have a rule, but make an exception to it because he broke a record. But it just looks silly when he does it the year after that, and then he don't win the MVP and he don't get close to winning it. You get what I'm saying? So what are we really saying? Like, did you really value the record? Is the stats really mean that much? Like, how you voting on MVP? Like, it's very confusing. You made an exception for it, and he was in the 6th seed, so winning didn't matter that year because the significance of the record mattered more than winning, right? But in real life, you're supposed to reward those that win. And if I could sit down and show you that the way that Mike and Kobe played basketball, put it this way. If you know how you build a 2K character, you're my player, and when you first get him, you only got so many amount of points you can spend on his attributes, right? So if let's say you got 100 points you can spend, and you give 25 to dribbling, 25 to shooting, 25 to athleticism, you know, and another 25 to I don't know, defense or something, right? That's all your points. Or you can say, man, I'm gonna give all 100 points to shooting, right, and suck everywhere else, right? And imagine if your superstar had a choice whether that he wanted to concentrate on being a dominant scorer. You only get two choices. Do you want to be a dominant scorer and a great defender at the same time, right? And if you do that, it's more conducive to winning. Or do you want to be a dominant scorer and a dominant passer at the same time? And it's not that conducive to winning. That's basically what the MVP has boiled down to. All dominant scorers are going to be considered for MVP. But the second part is, when they're looking at stats, is if you're doing the point guard duties and you're getting all the assists, then that's going to give you an extra stat that most guys that are trying to win are not doing. Because if you got your mind on defense, you don't want to be the guy that's setting everybody up on offense and setting the table and getting all the assists, because I have to worry about scoring on offense. So if I got to worry about scoring and then on the other end, I got to worry about defending at a high level, I'm not trying to expend no energy being no point guard or being no point forward or being no assist king. So when you look at Jordan and Kobe, they were elite defenders. So they chose to exert their energy on defense and scoring on offense without the ball, right? They get, if I'm off the ball and somebody else is handling the point guard duties, that gives me more energy. I can rest on offense if I wanted to, but if I'm resting on offense, I got somebody else that can run the offense. So I'm not gonna hurt my team by doing it. But if I rest on defense, I'm gonna hurt my team. Right. But notice all the guys who average close to a triple-double are considered bad defenders when they was doing it. When James Harden was averaging close to a triple-double, horrible defender in Houston. When Russell Westbrook was averaging a triple-double, horrible defender. Luka, when he was averaging a triple-double, horrible defender. When LeBron James is playing that way, I wouldn't say he was a horrible defender, but he rested on defense and he didn't take the hard assignment every single time. You know, he went some years of not playing defense. And Jokic, another guy about that triple-double, not that great of a defender. Notice the guys who average triple-doubles don't defend that well. And notice the guys who defend well don't try to play point guard. They just worry about scoring without the ball. Just picture that, right? So when you start hearing people say that, oh man, you know, look at his stats, look what he averages, look at his assists, and they're saying that that's the reason why they're averaging triple-double, you always got to ask yourself then, if doing it that way was such a great idea, then how come the guy like Shai Gilgeous that's doing it like Kobe and Jordan by being a dominant scorer on offense, playing off the ball, but on defense being locked down? Why does he have the #1 record in the Western Conference? Why was his way leading to more wins just like Jordan and Kobe, but the way Westbrook and Harden was doing it and Luka was doing it, always keep you in that 5th and 6th seed? Even when Jokic first got his first MVP, or his second one, whenever he was in the 6th seed, when he almost averaged a triple-double, he was in the 6th seed, right? So just think about the triple-double kings. The winning don't follow them. The stats do, but the winning don't. But the guys who's doing it the way Shai Gilgeous did it, you have guys you're in good company with guys like Kobe and Mike. So listen to how they was talking about this on the Odd Couple.
He had an unbelievable season. He's not the MVP, okay? And he doesn't lead in any third in scoring, right? He doesn't lead in anything.
Steals, if you want.
Okay, and then the other two guys, Chris, who are ahead of him, have better stats. He might have a better scoring average than them, but overall, when you look at all of their stats, they're better. That's all. I'm not. I know he's a young guy. I know he led a young team, but am I off with the stat? Like their stats are better.
No, you're not off.
I'm trying to be fair, and I'm not trying to rip the kid who had a tremendous season, but let's not, like if you told me he led in 3 categories, Chris, and he was ahead of them in 2 out of the 3 categories, both of them, maybe I could buy it. Maybe.
Well, no, I'm with you.
That's all I'm saying.
The reason he is behind Jokic and Luka on my ballot is exactly what you said. I mean, Luka's stats, come on. What are we talking about? Luka, 33.9 points a game, first in the league. More so Shea, that's almost 4 points more than Shea.
Right there, Chris. He's number 1. You're 3.
Got that.
You should be the MVP. I mean, if you just
Luka 9.2 rebounds, Shea 5.5. So he's got him there by almost 4. Assists, because you could say, oh, well, of course, Luka's bigger than Shea.
Right, of course he's going to have more rebounds.
But what about the assists? Luka 9.8 assists, second in the league, and Shea 6.2.
That case closed. Okay, so that's case closed. And then
Jokic, of course, averaging 26 points a game, which is still in the top 10. But Rob, 12.4 rebounds. I think he's third in the league in rebounds with 12.6, fourth, 12.4. And then 9 assists a game. That's third in the league. So he's a center averaging more assists than Shea.
Right.
Obviously more rebounds. Those numbers, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage is more efficient than Shea.
So listen to how when they was talking about Shea at the beginning, and when he said, he don't lead in anything statistically, and Chris Bouchard was like, well, he leads in steals, and he just ignored it, like, forget about defense. He just ignored it, right? So the fact that you lead in the statistical category defensively meant nothing to them. He's getting almost 3 steals a game, right? And he's not just getting steals, he's playing really great lockdown defense, and his team being a top-rated defensive team, just like Edwards is in Minnesota and just like Tatum is in Boston. But that don't count for anything when it goes toward the MVP race. Defense counts for nothing. They just wash defense out of the whole conversation. They don't count for nothing. And then they wash your team's success and record out of the conversation. The only thing that matters to them as journalists and stat nerds in the MVP race is points, rebounds, assists. And then if you go to advanced analytics, if you need to describe that, because if it comes down to somebody like Embiid, who, who's playing both ends of the floor at an elite level, and his team is winning, and he's leading the league in points, and then he's top 5 in blocks, and like Embiid had a really great case. That's why he won it last year. When you're comparing him to a guy like Jokic, you got to go to advanced analytics, and then you got to start saying stuff like win shares, and a Jokic post play is the number 1. You're averaging 1.9 points a possession with a Jokic post play, and it's the number 1 ranked play in basketball. You got to go to all that type of stuff to explain why he ain't providing value on defense and things of that nature, right? And then for Luka is even worse, because even at least Jokic, a couple of years he got MVP. His team was up there ranked very high, number 1, number 2 in the league, number 3 sometimes, whatnot. But this comment that Cash put on the thing, remember when Jokic was a 5th seed, was because he had no Jamal. I don't care what the excuse is why he was a 5th seed. The point is, a 5th seed can't get more votes than a number 1 seed when they both are leading their team. Like if what I did helped me get to a number 1 seed, and what you did got you to a number 5 seed, I don't care what the excuse is. Oh, I'm only a 5th seed because I didn't have my number 2 player. Okay, so what? That just means that your number 2 player didn't, you go miss out on MVP this season. Better luck next year. Like we can't cheat players out of earned stuff and earned MVPs because a guy that we want to give it to didn't have all his tools to be able to get to it. You get what I'm saying? We can't cheat. If we run a 100-meter dash and I win, and then you say the only reason why you won because I didn't have my spikes, I can't turn around and say, well, you won because you didn't have your spikes. Give him the number one ribbon. No, I earned the number one ribbon, but you got an excuse why you couldn't do it. But we're just gonna have to find out when you have your spikes if you can beat me. So we're just gonna have to find out the next year if you can get the MVP when Jamal comes back. But that don't mean we got to give it to you and feel sorry for you because you didn't have your number 2 and give it to somebody in the number 5 seed. Just like Westbrook wasn't supposed to deserve it just because he averaged a triple-double. Thank you for making history. Thank you for doing something we haven't seen since Oscar, but we're not giving you the MVP for it sitting at the 5th seed. We value winning around here. Right. And if you start treating things like that and you start valuing winning and valuing defense, then the players would value winning and defense. You wouldn't have people, fans and owners like Mark Cuban calling for MVP. Mark Cuban tweets 3 times a day, MVP, MVP, MVP for Luka. Every single day. I follow him on X. Every morning, his first tweet is MVP. He been wanting Luka to get an MVP for 3 years. He's not earning it. He's sitting at a 5th seed. He's not earning. We literally have Jason Tatum in the number 1 seed, OKC in the number 1 seed, and we got Anthony Edwards that outperformed him as well. Because remember my calculations and how my criteria for MVP is you have to have, and move this comment out the way so y'all can see it. You have to have offensive value, right? Because it's about most valuable player. So how can a player that's valuable on offense and valuable on defense ever be considered lower than the guy who's only valuable on offense? Like, that don't even make sense. Like, offense is 50% of the game. Defense is the other 50%. Put them together, that's 100%. So if I'm valuable on offense and defense, that makes me a 100% player. If you're valuable only on offense, that makes you a 50% player. How can a 50% player ever be more valuable than a 100% player? So if you got the first 2 legs of offensive value and defensive value, you already got yourself ahead of the curve. Now, if your offensive value and defensive value actually led to team success, then voila. I got Jason Tatum, who's valuable offensively, valuable defensively, and he has the most successful team in the league. That equals out more than a guy who's only valuable offensively, who has less team success and no value defensively. There's no way Luka can be getting more votes than Tatum or Edwards or SGA. The only person that should be in this race is Jokic. Luka does not belong in this race. Jokic, I would have SGA number 1. I would have me, honestly, just by my criteria, I would have Tatum 2 and I would have Jokic 3. And then I would have Edwards at 4 and then possibly Luka at 5. That would be my top 5 MVP right now. Luka would be at 5. I would have SGA 1, Tatum 2, Jokic 3, Edwards 4, Luka 5. But for them to come out and say that Luka is number 1 or 2 and Jokic is number 1 and 2 and SGA is number 3, all because he don't average 9 assists. You think the 9 assists is more valuable than defense? Like, what are these people even thinking about? Like, somebody make that make sense for me. Defense has no value. So my suggestion and how you fix this is you have to create the offensive player of the year. That way that players that only play offense can win an award. But defense is reserved for those who lead their team to success and have offense and defensive value. That's the MVP because he's most valuable because he's valuable on both ends. But for a guy valuable on one end, that's the offensive player of the year. And yes, I would vote Luka the offensive player of the year right now over everyone. 100% Luka is the offensive player of the year. But he's not the MVP because he's only valuable in one area and not both. And that's the last thing I say about it. I'm gonna open the phone lines up. Y'all can call in, get y'all thoughts on this MVP race or anything random. You know, I take phone calls and I probably shut it down in 10 to 15 minutes. So the phone call come in, we can have a conversation. If not, then I end the show and I see y'all on Friday with the full panel. But yeah, that's those are my thoughts on Luka's getting the scoring title. Embiid was in line for it before his injury. But yeah, Luka gets the scoring title. But I'm really serious about the offensive player of the year. The offensive player of the year should be a thing in the NBA, and that way it won't be no confusion about the MVP. We can reward guys that's all offense very easily. Hit the like button for sure, man. Make sure you do that. The NBA does love Luka, 100%. So Jordan never deserved a MVP when the Bulls weren't first. It's not about being first, Kaz. It's about the totality of the thing, right? So if I have 3 candidates, right, I'm going to take in consideration all of these things, right? So it's not necessarily the team that's number 1, but all of this is going to be factored in. So Michael Jordan always had offensive value. He always had defensive value, and he always had team success. But was his team the most successful every single time? Definitely not, because I think his first MVP, he was in the 5th seed, maybe fifth seed. But if you take all the other MVP candidates, you have to ask yourself, did they have all 3 as well? Right. So, and if it was a candidate that had all 3, I wasn't following the MVP race back then, so I can't really tell you who had all 3. So I don't know. I don't know if MJ deserved that one when his team didn't have the best record or one of the best records. I don't know. So it's possible one of his they probably should gave it to somebody else. I don't know. But you have to look at the other candidates, because if the guys who had better records than MJ was less valuable on offense and less valuable on defense as he was, which they probably was, because that year that his team was not the top seed, he got defensive player of the year. He was the scoring champion and the steal champion. So it's safe to say that he was the best offensive player and he was the best defensive player, because he got both of those awards. So to be first team all defense, be the defensive player of the year and the steals champion and the scoring champion, I think it's safe to say that, yeah, he was number 1 in both of those things, and probably not number 1 in team success. But that's how they worked out. It actually worked out that he actually deserved it more than whoever the other candidates was. Funky Town, what's your thoughts?
Man, you're gonna have me going in late to work tomorrow. Anyway, yeah. No. There was absolutely not one of his that somebody else was supposed to get. So that's not. As a matter of fact, I know I ain't got nothing with Cash. Cash knows what he's talking about. He said it's from Chi-Town. Point is, no, that was 87 when he's 31 and 37 and 1. Didn't win it. Next season, 35, he did. And they had no choice because he won everything. It was so outrageous. It was no one else that could possibly have won it, and they could not have, done it. But after that, 89, they did it. They took it away from him in 89, gave it to Magic. They gave it to Magic in 90, when they actually had Jordan come in third behind Magic and Barkley. Then you go into Barkley in 93, and then of course 97 with Malone.
Mm-hmm.
But those people were getting graded on a different scale. They didn't. Jordan was still like I said with Luka. He was still already the point leader. He won every one of those years. He was number one in points every year. He was up. He 3 of those years he was the leader in steals at the same time.
Yep.
We already know he was first team defense all those times too. So the point is, they were not. Everyone else was having their absolute greatest season, and that was what they said. Okay, well, we're gonna give Charles his flowers this time, and then this time we're gonna give it to
Malone.
Malone.
Yep.
But if you look at the actual stats, as people want to say or whatever, they would come up with a narrative, and that's what to me this is what this is going on. It's a narrative. They're not taking a totality and saying, okay, this is what we can see. The effect of what the person's done. Yes, obviously stats are going to have part of it, offensive and defensive stats. They should be equally. I like your triangle. It makes sense. That's a holistic way of looking at it. But if you look at how what they've been doing lately, it's all offense. It's all offense.
All offense. All stats as well. All stats.
And it's a storyline. How they want to push the story. And to me, there's no comparison. Like to me, I'm with you. Matter of fact, we kind of line up perfectly when it comes to who this SGA for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's doing it on both ends. He's number one. His team's number one in the West.
Yep.
Who's got the harder conference right now?
The West for sure.
East to West.
The West for sure,
right?
Yep.
So he's doing it in a harder conference, and again, we kind of line up. I don't have anything against Joker or anything like that, but for me, not even. But again, they're gonna change the narrative up because I think they're gonna try to push Luka and make it seem like that Doughboy is somehow
Yeah, I think Luka will get it for sure. I think he'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what they to me that's the message that's been sent down. That's why these jokers in the press are pushing the stories that they're shaping things a certain way, and that it's kind of how like we were saying about with Pierce and all these other people. The message has been sent down that we got to make this NBA thing look like it's legit. And so we got to start talking up this 40,000, and we got to start talking about this. We got to start doing all this. We got to make it seem like it's whatever. Bottom line is, they got a narrative they want to push, and people gonna fall in line, or they gonna get fired from ESPN like Pierce did. He ain't gonna make that mistake again. Keeping his job at Fox.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my 2 cents on it, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, man.
You got it, man.
All right, now.
Y'all have a good night.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, man. I don't understand how we got to this point where defense is not even part of the equation, and winning is not part of the equation. The only thing that's part of the equation is points, rebounds, and assists, and that's basically what the MVP is now. Forget who's winning the most. Forget who's playing the other side of the ball. Points, rebounds, and assists. And if you forsake winning, you can go get like every player that's as good as Luka, Jokic, SGA, Harden, Westbrook, LeBron, Kevin Durant. Every player that's that good, that's not considered a small player like Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry, they're smaller in size, or at least they don't play very athletic and physical. Where they could do some of this, but all the big wings or big men who are really good in the top 10 of players, if they wanted to average 7 to 10 assists and 7 to 10 rebounds, they could. Now, all the star players are going to get their 25 to 30 points because they're the primary scorer. But if you wasn't the primary scorer, like the difference between being a primary scorer and not being a primary scorer is basically what Kevin Love and Chris Bosh did when they went from Toronto to Miami or from Minnesota to Cleveland. Kevin Love, when he was the primary scorer, was getting you 25 a game. When he wasn't the primary scorer, he was getting you 15 a game. Same with Bosh. He was getting you 25 a game in Toronto as the primary scorer. When he's not the primary scorer, he was getting you between 15 and 17. So if you are the primary assist guy versus not being the primary assist guy, it's the same thing as not being the primary scorer. So if I'm the primary assist guy, I'm going to get the assist. We're putting up 100 shots a game. If I'm the primary guy making the passes, I can find 9 assists out of 100 shots. Out of 100 shots, we might make 48. Out of 48 made shots, I should be able to get 9 assists. Right? That makes sense. So if I'm the primary scorer, I'm getting 30 shots a game. I should be able to get 25 to 30 points out of 30 shots. And if I'm the primary assist guy, I should be able to get 9 assists. The rest of it is just strategically, if I can get the rebounds. If I'm a 7-footer like Jokic, yeah, I'm going to be down there where the rebounds going to be at. But if I'm Luka and I want those rebounds, the easiest way to get them is not be the guy defending the ball. And Luka is never hardly ever the guy defending the ball. He's always the guy defending the short corner. So when those long shots go up, rebounds can fall. He's not boxing no one out to get those rebounds, and he's not contesting any shots. So the guy that's doing all the contesting and playing defense and keeping his man in front of him, and he driving to the hole and I got to contest, I can't contest the shot, jump all the way in the air with my stretch arms and then turn around, hit the ground and box out and get a rebound. It don't work like that. So if you're playing lockdown defense, you're not going to be the guy in the best position to get rebounds. But if you're the guy who's been hidden on defense because we don't want you to foul or we don't want you to get blown by and give up layups, we're just going to put you on the guy in the corner. Yes, rebounds are going to fall in your lap. So it's not even impressive to get high volume rebounds in this era anymore. And it's not impressive to get those assists either, because if I make you the primary passer, you're going to get between 7 and 9 assists. It's not that impressive. So for guys like SGA, he is the guy that's normally contesting the shots and playing lockdown defense because he's a great defender. So he's not going to be getting those rebounds the way Luka does. And he's not the guy who's just ball dominant, who has a high usage rate with the ball, that's responsible for all the assists on the team. So he's not going to have the high assists either. So basically what I'm saying, I took the long way to say this. Rebounds and assists is a strategy based on how your team uses you. It doesn't tell me that you're doing something better than me. It's my team is not using me like that. But the way my team is using me has me in the number 1 seed. So the way I play is more conducive to winning than the way you play. The way you play is more conducive to stats. I'd rather go after the win and then my stats just end up being what they are versus I'm going for this style of play for stats and then my wins just end up being what they are. Right? So, I mean, I just wanted to put that out there, man. That's how I see it, man. Appreciate y'all welcoming me. It's almost a 3-hour episode, man. Appreciate all the super chats, the phone calls, and the comments. And I catch y'all on Friday with the full panel. Yep. Until next time, peace.